Hey, there we are. It's
Hey everyone.
hello.
What up?
We got a Castle Super guest. It's another one of these. Someone here to keep keep our shit in line. What's going on, Sheena? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? I don't know if I can keep your shit in line. Don't put that pressure on me. Don't put that
That's
evil
that's a
on me.
lot, dude.
It
That's a lot
is,
to ask of me
but it's
right now.
kind of become I think it's become a thing of like, okay, third voice is automatically forced to be the voice of reason, to check our shit that goes out of
How long
control.
known me? How long have you known me and how long have you known that I am not the voice of reason?
Absolutely not.
Which
But
is how I even got on this podcast to begin with.
it's relative comparison. By relative comparison, I
Holy,
suppose.
would you like to introduce our guest?
Yes. Hello. It is Sheena of Albino Moose Games, and we met a billion years ago at I want to
Facts.
say PAX, yeah.
Facts.
And and Sheena is the developer behind Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion.
Hey, you got it. Some people
Yeah.
stumble. Let's
I
go.
would
No,
I would have fucked it
no.
up. I was thinking it in my head and I fucked it up in my
That
brain.
we're not going with the old title, you know. We're here. What's up?
Love
Yeah.
to see it.
And ever since then, it's been just like, hey, what's up? Popping up different cons, different events here and there, and always a good time. She was
Always a
cool.
good time. Thanks. You guys are all right.
Mid at best.
I'll
really.
take it.
Mid
You guys
at
are
best.
all right. Mid at best.
Yeah.
So now that we have a guest on this Capcom Cup podcast, we have a third party to look at us and go, "What the fuck is this fighting game shit you
hope-
guys are talking about?"
Hope you're ready to go in depth on frame data today, Sheena.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's do it.
No, what's up? What's up? How's it going? We open up usually with what we've been playing, what we've been watching, what's going on. Have you checked out anything recently?
Dude, I have been so bad. I have been traveling so much recently from coming from MagFest to kind of undisclosed funny area in Chicago. Um, all I have been playing is Splatoon. I'm not even gonna lie to you. All I've been
Word.
playing is like Splatoon and then just like working on my own game. Does playing my own games count?
Yeah, it
Playing
counts.
playing your own game
Does that
super
count?
counts.
Does that count? Okay, well, so I
Would
recently just put out a demo for a game called Galvanized
hmm
with my studio. So I've been playing that. God damn, what have I been playing? Holy shit. Oh, I'm
You know,
so
you,
bad at this. I'm a
you
game
meant
developer and I don't even play fucking video games.
you mentioned Splatoon, and I don't know if I ever talked about it, but I remember hopping onto Splatoon 2 and being the only game I've ever played where I'm like, I might be like just literally too old for this.
Mhm.
Not because of the tone, but because every single person was using tilt controls to aim,
Yeah.
and
I'm
I was getting fucking smoked. And I'm like, I just want to use my analog stick
Well, because
like Grandpa did.
well, a lot of the times tilt is bad, but that's one of those games where it actually helps with the micro adjustment of your paint coverage, you know?
Dude, do you want to know something that's like so crazy? So I used to in Splatoon 2, I used to be X rank, which is like the highest like rank on Splatoon.
Let's
And
go.
then but I don't use tilt controls in Splatoon. I cannot do it. I
Oh,
use
so I'm just shit.
I,
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
you're just suck.
Oh,
You just suck. I'm sorry. It's skill issue. Skill
Okay.
issue.
So like
Yeah.
I honestly though haven't touched it since the first one. So like how is 3 going? Is it like
Oh, it's rough. It's in a rough state, unfortunately.
mm,
It's in a rough state, and that's why I haven't even bothered trying to grind out my rank. I think I'm like S right now, like I'm S rank, but that's it. I'm not fighting that. And then recently a new DLC came out called Side Order. So probably after this, I'm probably gonna finally play that.
are they still doing like
Vests.
exactly like pick sides between like
Yeah, they
wars
just had
and concepts?
yeah. Yeah, they just
Okay.
had one last weekend that was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where your picks.
Between 3?
my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, because
Yeah,
there's
it's
Big
free now.
Man.
Cause big man, superior.
I mean, Friday all day because Friday
Is
you
that,
wait well okay, Friday night you have the entirety of a full day ahead of you and then the one after that. So you don't even have to worry about it.
Dude, Saturday
is for me. Yeah.
Saturday. Dude, I was having this conversation with Paige the other night where it was like 10 p.m. and she was going to bed because we do that now in this house. Whoa. And she's like, are you staying up? I'm like, I am staying up because Saturday is the only day of the week that I can stay up as late as I want. Because I didn't stream and Sunday I don't do nothing and I'm gonna do it. I'm an adult man and I can stay up as late as I want.
Okay.
And I stayed up till 1 o'clock.
I might have to actually recuse myself from this conversation because to me, for the majority of my life, Friday night into Saturday was church time. It was the Sabbath.
See, yeah, that was your Saturday.
That was Sabbath, and Saturdays were nothing but hymns and communions and worship, and then when the sun came down is when I was allowed to play games again. So
yeah. So your
that makes sense.
Friday night was our Saturday night.
Saturday night, yeah.
Okay. Well, you see, because it started on Friday night. Technically, that's when it goes down. But it's all stupid. It's all stupid.
I didn't know you did like the sundown to sunrise shit.
It is literally.
I didn't know you did that either.
Yeah. So Seventh-day Adventist is what it's called, and it follows the Shabbat in the same way that it does it with Judaism, where like it's from the sundown until the sundown the next day. That's technically the seventh day when God rested. You know,
you could have played so many Super Nintendo games during that time.
Yeah, right? Instead we have to look at the sunset calendar and like whatever's on TV. You know, if it was like Family Matters, or it depends, because if it's early in the year, then like Gargoyles is coming on, and then you get to watch Gargoyles and then shut it down for the rest of the weekend.
You were able to watch Gargoyles on the Shabbat? Isn't that like a double show?
No. It's before the sun goes down. You see?
Okay.
So the whole point is like whatever if whatever time it is, if it's sunset is at 4 p.m., you get to watch 4 p.m. TV, and then like and then it's dark, and then you can't do anything until the Saturday night. But if it's sunset later, you get to go past the Disney afternoon, and you actually get towards like Family Matters and shit, you know.
So summer is a massive huge, thumbs up.
Huge.
Oh man.
But it also means the Saturday you're locked up for longer. You don't get your freedom until way late at night. It's skewed so much of who I am.
I am. Oh, that's so complicated as like a concept and a thing to remember too. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to figure out what like 2 + 2 is, but also trying to remember when you're allowed to watch TV and
bro. The only like curfew style time thing that I ever dealt with for my entire childhood is, did the street lights kick on?
Yeah.
You're too late.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, that was me too. Yeah, that was absolutely me. But now like in my adult years, like Saturday is like pussy poppin' because like there's concerts and there's all a bunch of like cool stuff that I can do.
Drop it low. Yeah, rave it out. So I mean, for me, there was a point where it's like, okay, I actually have reclaimed my weekend, and then I can go out and do shit and have fun with my friends. But like the entire time, every time you hear me say Saturday morning cartoons, I'm vaguely referencing a concept I have no attachment to. I am completely posing every time I say, "Oh yeah, you know, it's like a Saturday morning cartoon."
Well,
I don't know what a fucking Saturday morning cartoon is. I wasn't allowed to watch them.
Yeah.
I'm just, you know, I've through osmosis interpreted a vibe, but yeah.
Oh my god! Wow.
This explains
a lot.
Everything.
This explains so damn much. Yeah.
And then the desire to get back all those lost weekends shapes what the fuck I turn into. Anyway. Well, I don't know who won the Splatfest in the end.
I actually don't know.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta look this up.
I think it was Saturday. I better be fucking Saturday.
Somebody in the chat will probably say it was Saturday.
It better be Saturday or I'm gonna rage. I'm gonna be so mad.
Who's the dweeb that's like, actually
it was Friday?
Sunday though?
It was Friday.
Hey, let's go.
Oh,
Friday.
Damn it.
Oh, you know why?
Friday night.
Because Splatoon is children. And they were like, oh, I get off school early on Friday. hooray! I could go play with my Xbox or whatever the fuck.
Who gets off early on a Friday during school? What kind of schools did you guys go to?
Well, when you skip your classes, then
yeah.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know anything about that.
No, I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm just like a good little Catholic girl. I've never skipped school. I've never drank in a beer before. I've never done anything like that. Never. No, never.
Man, hey,
with the nuns with the giant paddles and everything.
This just popped a fucking like memory bubble in my mind. When I was in grade 11 and I was finishing high school, I did my fucking final exams like the last week of May. But I still had school until the 20th of June.
Why?
And I remember, and I started going to my classes and I'm like, wait, why am I even bothering to show up? What the hell is this?
So
why did you show up? You should have showed up.
Well,
that's your fault.
We still have some material to cover, and I'm like, "Fuck this! I'm out of here."
We had
no sense.
Yeah, I want to say we had like a week or so, like a couple days after exams, to just basically show up, and everyone just fucked off and fucked around. Like there was no real people were walking through the hallways mid class. No one gave a shit. But
I literally just walked around town and just fucking did nothing, and came home and told my parents that school was fun.
Also, we had
for like 15 days in a row.
We had uniforms, and that was like when people kind of just gave up entirely on the uniforms and started busting out their own clothes.
I had uniforms my elementary and middle school experience, just because I went to like a school in Texas, and it was like the ugliest fucking uniforms too. It was khakis and maroon collared shirts. Ugliest shit. Ugliest shit in my life. Ugliest shit in my life. Like, what do I work for? Fucking Allstate? Like, what the shit is this?
I never had.
Yeah, and so then so then I ended up going to Illinois for high school. And so we didn't have like a dress code, but I always used to like skim the line of things that we were allowed to wear. Like I used to wear like there's like this popular Misfits lyric that says like, I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch. And I used to wear a shirt in school that used to say that with the little like the little phantom, the Misfits logo kind of thing. But my senior year of high school, I ditched most of it because like you're a senior, you're checked out, you don't give a shit anymore. But my birthday is in March, and so I still had school for a little while, even, before graduating. And so I ended up picking up this job as an apprentice at a tattoo shop. So I would always ditch the last half of my classes just so that I could go to the tattoo shop and like work on my apprenticeship and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sick.
Yeah. And but what was even more funny about this shit, and it's like super not allowed, but who gives a shit at this point? But like the on-campus cop was also like an actual cop that he would do cop duties at night, but during the day he would be like an on-campus cop. So he used to get tattooed at the shop that I worked at. So the few days that I did stick around, I would just hang out in his little like office thing, and I used to steal packs. Well, not steal because he watched me do it, but I used to take cigarettes that he confiscated from other kids out of the drawers.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and he would be like, "Hey, like, are you working at the shop today?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, do you want to ride?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want to ride. I don't want to walk."
Story rules.
Skimming off the commissary. Jesus Christ.
So wait, both of you guys went to uniformed high schools?
Yeah.
No, my elementary and my middle school were uniformed, but then my high school experience was not uniformed.
So I didn't go, like everything I went to was like completely fucking laissez-faire, like do whatever. And there was like, I didn't give a shit and everyone hated uniforms, but there was like one horrible downside / upside, which you got to learn really early which of your teachers were disgusting creep pieces of shit. Like my history teacher that just disappeared one year in the middle of the semester. He just fucking vanished, and the staff just pretended like he had never worked there. And he was the guy always yelling at girls to like pull up their tank tops.
Okay.
You remember that?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, he was summoned away back to save history. Actually, time needed him. Yeah. Okay.
What?
Well, there was rumors about teachers who disappeared from time to time in high school. We had one or two of those as well. The uniform thing, we had elementary dress codes, right? So for up to grade 6, it was like you can wear kind of whatever, but it has to be these colors. It was like white shirt, gray pants, more or less. But then in high school, not only is it a uniform, but it's a fucking scam where you have to order from this company. Top Marks produces
bullshit.
and it's like Jostens with the photos. Like, they know how to they're predators that go to schools and they force you to take their photos with them, and you have to buy from this company.
What a pile of shit.
And you have to have the little logo. And like, if you wore a shirt that was a white shirt but didn't have the logo, you could get in trouble for that. And like, the administration would actually send you to the office to be like, hey, you're wearing a white shirt, but it's not a Top Marks shirt. And you know, and like, of course that shit was marked up and expensive. It was completely insane. But there were all kinds of ways to try and find to like circumvent what you could by like little things, right? So like, almost like, you know, like Ryuji in P5 is like got the shirt underneath the uniform jacket. So if you got a particular white shirt that has like I remember I had like a church shirt that was like a very thin material, so you could wear like a t-shirt underneath it and have a little bit of extra flavor with your colored shirt or whatever's going on with the white one underneath, you know? Or you'd find just different ways to kind of mix and match it here and there and show a little bit of personality within the stupid bullshit that is the uniform. And they would advertise it to parents as like, oh, it's going to teach your kids how to, you know, whatever, have discipline, yada, yada. And the whole point is to show that like, oh, if everyone has a uniform, then we don't have to worry about kids who don't have enough clothes or have to wear the same thing often. So like, it kind of like lets people, it doesn't allow kids to be bullied economically, right?
But the kids who have like less money to buy clothes are being forced to buy marked up piece of shit.
Exactly. It's horse shit. It's the highest order of horse shit. The exact thing that you're claiming to be fixing, you're causing way worse.
More.
It's so stupid.
You know, Jimmy's kind of poor. His family doesn't have a lot of money. Why don't you throw a bunch of paint on his uniform and just fuck his whole life up?
Yeah. No, it was awful, man.
That's bad.
And the worst narc teachers were the ones who were like looking for the fucking little stitch, the little logo that said TM, you know? Anyway,
the closest that we got to that, because like I said, my elementary and my middle, we had same kind of bullshit where we had to buy all of our clothes from like a really specific place because that's where like they fit the criteria. But in high school, we didn't have a dress code except for gym class. So gym class specifically, we had to get the specific branded gym shorts and gym shirts of like our school, like our high school, like name and bullshit like that. But also same thing. We had to go to a special store in the city to buy that, and the uniforms are always like $50 or something, and they always said like you have to buy like 2 or 3 because you have to wear this like
sweat,
every day of the week, you have to buy a bunch, so it's like $150 minimum for fucking gym clothes.
Yeah, and speaking of sweat, by the way, so I have an older brother. So guess who had to fucking recycle some of those uniforms?
Oh, no.
Handing down when the time came, you know?
I have so much disdain
man,
for fucking hand-me-downs.
Dude, you saying that out loud just unlocked a series of awful memories with my brother. But they're not the ones you think they are.
What are they then? What does that mean?
So, Gene, if you don't know, my half brother and I don't get along because he's like a piece of shit, scumbag criminal.
Oh, that's me with my 2 sisters. I can't stand them.
But like, I think back to these moments where maybe mom and dad could have mitigated that a little bit. Because I never wore a single hand-me-down for my brother because my mom didn't like any of his clothes because they were not nice enough for her boy. So my older sister would give hand-me-downs to my brother if it was appropriate, but I would get a brand new thing because mom wanted me to get a brand new thing.
If that is not getting your children to hate each other, I don't know what the.
Because like,
no.
So you ever have this moment?
There was
where
no shot. It never had a shot.
The memory unlocks.
Oh my god!
And you understand, and you look back to a childhood memory, and you're like, oh, I see it now.
Fucking Matilda, Harry Potter, Like,
okay,
just
so when
I'm still in shock. I'm sorry. I'm still like, what the fuck?
I may be responsible for my brother's descent into crime. I'm now thinking about it. I might remember the flashpoint moment where it all went wrong, where we were driving somewhere and I was 7 and he was 11. And we were moving from Verdun to Chateauguay. So shithole to weird suburb, right? And we had gone to a store to get me like a bedroom set, like a desk and like a bureau, right? And like a bed frame, because I was going to have a new room because I wasn't going to be sharing a room anymore.
Right.
And my brother asked, "Hey, how come Pat gets all new furniture?" And my 7-year-old ass looked at him and opened my mouth and said, "It's because they love me more than you."
Pat.
And and the car like exploded.
Pat.
Dude.
Pat.
Dude.
Pat.
Dude, I never.
Pat.
Why are you a little asshole?
Like you.
Why are you a little cock?
Here's the problem. Here's the real problem. Is that I was a young child.
Oh my God.
And didn't understand that was not something that I was supposed to do because it was really obvious. It was really obvious.
This has to be.
My sister knew it. My sister's the only person who didn't get mad at me.
Dude.
Because she was like, yeah, no, they do.
When you say unlocked, like this has to be unlocked because this is, you've never brought any of this up before. That's crazy.
I can't.
That's insane.
I can't.
Oh, it's fun. There was never a shot. There was never a shot. That's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Because like I remember after that, my mom and dad just like totally fumbled it.
I can't.
They were like, "Oh no, of course not."
I can't. I can't. I'm having a crisis. I can't.
That's man. Okay. All right. All right. Dynamic established. Got it. Yeah. Dude, that is what you call the smallest domino. Like straight up.
Oh man.
Fuck. All right.
Your tiny little grubby finger just went.
I was a little child. I didn't know any better.
You were 7. You should have known to be
Kids say the realest things apparently.
That's true.
No, hold on. I
true.
couldn't have been 7 because I was 7 in grade 2.
Okay.
And this is when we were moving, so I was 5.
Oh, okay. That's not so bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's so bad, but like no, you didn't know. You didn't know.
And you're moving from Kaled to Liurnia.
Yeah.
Ostensibly.
Well, the problem, Sheena, was that I did know. That was the real problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's. Okay.
See if you can follow this upgrade tree to whatever conclusions, you know. But, damn.
This all makes a lot of sense now too. We made a lot of sense with Wooly, and now we've made a lot of sense with Pat too.
Yeah.
It's already stealing bikes and getting into fights at school by that point. So I mean,
okay, well that's a good question. Did you guys?
Well,
ever get
maybe mom's love is under the bike seat, Pat. Maybe it can be found behind this chocolate bar at the corner store. All right. Anyways, hey.
Sorry, Sheena, what was your question about physical altercations?
No, I was gonna say, okay, so because you brought it up, did you ever and obviously Pat, we know, but did you guys ever have an altercation in school, like a proper fist fight, and at what age?
My brother and I never went to the same school.
But you didn't fight any other kids?
Oh no, I fought a lot of other kids.
What was your first fight? And what grade? How old were you?
Kindergarten.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You were an angry little child.
Sheena, you met me. You stood next to me. I'm like the shortest man you've ever seen in your life, right?
That's
so like everyone would want to pick on me.
That's true.
So I would have to try and defend myself, and I often did a really bad job. But yeah, no, I got into fights constantly throughout all the way out to until I went to college.
Okay. I like the three of us when we stand together, by the way, talking about height really quick,
Mm-hmm.
because we're like a little like phone signal bar thing.
Oh,
Where Pat's at the bottom and I'm in the middle.
Oh, see, I
the
was
Wi-Fi
thinking of
signal.
a piano.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that works.
Sure.
Okay.
With the black key that's in the middle at the top.
The ebonies and but those are usually shorter up to. Anyways,
that's true. That's true.
But you know what? I am sharp though, so I'll take that.
Hey.
That's good.
No, for in high school, had a couple fights. For the most part, a lot of the time, so like I had friends that were, I'd play like D&D with and stuff, kids from like, the gaming side and like some of the nerdy groups and stuff, and they would get picked on by like this shit group, and like I would get into fights with the bullies of that group that would come at my nerdier friends.
You, man.
And that was kind of like that was the majority of what they were. There were like one or two random ones with people that weren't a part of that like happened. One time someone just pegged an apple through the air on the soccer field, and it landed square in the nuts, like on me on the other side. And it's like, shit, just random shit, shit's gonna pop off. Exactly. Yeah. That was you. So that was you. Literally threw a lawn dart, and like, oh, you started one. Okay. But for the most part, I had a couple of those.
That's a way better version of that story than mine. I mean, I told you, but like back in the day, like the fisticuffs I was getting into would often involve electricity, fire, and cars.
There were stage accessories and shit going on.
You know what?
Corey Sexton tried to run me over with his fucking car when I was walking to school. That fucking psycho.
You're short enough that it would have just went clean over you though. Like, what's the issue?
And she's on the board. All right. No, we had.
I'm never allowed on this podcast ever again.
We had as well. Like there was a point, and it wasn't really fighting as much as just like bored kids at church, where we ran a bit of a fight club in the basement for a while.
That's godly.
Okay,
that's closer to the Lord right there.
We were really bored, and it was taking really long for the sun to set. So I remember me, my crazy cousin, two of the other church kids that we were with, and like another dude that was from one of the other churches. We basically just had like some kind of boxing like rounds that we were doing, and it was pretty much just like boxing, body shots, grappling, no face shots, and just do that until 8:30, and then we can get the fuck out of here. But we're trapped, so we might as well just box in a church basement for a while.
That's so fucking fascinating, because I had a little bit of both of you guys growing up in terms of like my fighting bullshit, because like just like Pat, but for a different reason, I got bullied constantly because of my albinism, and I grew up in a, I'm full-blooded Hispanic, and like I grew up in a like 90% Hispanic, community and stuff like that. And so I got picked on constantly, right? And so like my first fist fight is where it was sort of a weapon, but sort of not. And I was like in 5th grade, and like some little girl kept, no, it wasn't was it 5th grade? I think it was like 4th or 5th grade. But like some little girl was just like pulling my hair, and I was like, please stop. And then she like yanked on it again real hard, like tilted my head. And I'm like, please stop. And then the third, and I'm like being like a little psycho, and I'm being calm about it even though it hurts. And she does it like a third time, and I'm like, okay. And I like grabbed her by her fucking face, and I just slammed her head into onto a brick wall that she was like standing like against.
So much worse.
Real hard, like boom, boom, like twice.
QTE.
Then, like,
this rules.
Wow.
I warned her 3 fucking times.
Yeah, like, heat action. Jesus Christ. Dude. Yeah.
And
okay.
So it's just like, so we got to do a lot of fights, but then in middle school, this is where the woolly part comes in. So in middle school, a lot of us discovered like professional wrestling, but at the time we're little and we don't know that wrestling is fake, right? So kind of the similar thing, where except it wasn't boxing, but we would do like professional wrestling moves and stuff like that. But like because we grew up like super like poor, we just did it like in the street. in like the middle of the street in between like people's like houses and stuff like that. But I was like in constant fights like all throughout like my years of just like relentless like bullying, even like in high school and stuff. Like it was just so it's so funny that I am like the middle mix between you two.
And hey, now we get the last laugh talking about video games on the internet.
We love to see it.
To success. And Pat, you get to sleep in a race car with your wife.
Yeah. Oh man. So, like, you don't want to hear something funny? I at one point looked up like the worst shithead I ever knew in high school. I'm like, what are they doing?
Oh, where are they now? Yeah.
Realtor.
Yeah. Okay.
A realtor. Oh shit.
Man, it's like tailor made for shitheads.
That's true. That is
Every
true.
realtor is a fucking piece of shit. Like, oh man, selling the house, buying a house. Oh my God, they're fucking so awful.
That's true.
Yeah, I feel well. I haven't really done too much like where are they nows with Facebook or such. I think there was supposed to be like a reunion at some point, but I don't think it ever really got together.
I know at least one guy I knew in high school that didn't like bully me, but he was a dickhead. I saw him on the street many years later begging me for money for crack because he got kicked out of the police academy.
Oh!
He got kicked out of the police academy for being a drug addict. And he's like, hey, Pat, remember me? Remember we went to school? Do you have any money? I'm like, I don't know who you are. Get away from me.
Wow. Dude, that's a scene in the movie, man. That one's in the screenplay. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he looked like he got kicked out of the police academy for being a drug addict.
I can't wait to watch the Pat screenplay.
He had the whole fucking look and the thinness and the rags and shit.
Talk about a fucking 180 God. Though, like from the one to the other. That's some like rickety cricket shit. You know?
It really is.
Not really, because he was doing drugs in high school.
Yeah,
he would show up to his class high.
Okay, so what we would have been a training day waiting to happen then.
Yeah,
yeah. Mm-hmm. One of those cops, right? Okay, well, all's well that ends well, I fucking suppose. Jesus.
I suppose.
Oh, that guy's probably dead.
But Pat came out on top for once, so we love to see it.
I'm small.
I'm small too. You know, I'm small too. I'm only like 2 inches taller than you. I'm also.
Girl! The proportions are so off, and it's not because of your tiny little Chernobyl baby legs.
I like that you've adopted my nomenclature from years ago.
Dude, it hurt my feelings so bad.
It scarred. I dropped that. I threw that at him once on a bus when
was that like 20 years ago?
20 years ago, we sat on a bus side by side, and I was so fucked up because when we sat down, we were actually eye level and shoulder level. And I was like, I don't understand. And it was like, oh, the proportions are not the same. Our body length is the same.
You have a full extra foot on your legs.
So I threw that one out, and the damage was so severe that it has persisted to this day. Oh,
that's so fucked up, Wooly. You're so mean, Wooly.
You know, Wooly, I'm gonna put you on blast here.
Do it.
The meanest thing you ever said to me in the whole time we've known each other, because we were talking about dating girls 19 years ago, and you were like, I don't get what the problem is. I'm like, Wooly, I'm fucking 5 foot nothing. Girls don't like short guys, and you're like, it can't be that hard. And then you went away and came back 3 weeks later, and you went, hey Pat, I want to apologize. I hung out with some girls and I asked them, and they were like, ew, short guys. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. And I completely lost it. I started swearing and calling you every name I could think. I was so fucking mad. This condescending fucking shit.
I didn't know. I went and
that did not happen.
Did I not?
It did happen.
But did I not go and find out and then bring back the updated information? What?
Oh, fuck.
I learned. All right. How are we supposed to grow if not to go out and find out?
I see what you're saying with growing.
Okay.
Okay, so
I wasn't just this week. Wasn't there the comic that's like
5'10" guy,
5'10" guy and his 5'10" girlfriend, and like 5'10" guy is like this little like sheepy little and the 5'10" girlfriend is like super tall and and like sleek, you know. Oh man, yes,
oh my God.
yes.
Okay, but on the opposite spectrum of it, right? Like Wooly, I have like I struggle with like this like identity, right, of people not knowing that I'm Hispanic because everybody always defaults to being like white, right? So a lot of people like to play this joke with me, right, where they ask people when they first meet me, like, hey, what like race, like what do you think Sheena is, like, do you think she's like what, you know, blah blah blah. And I won't say who did this, but someone did that when they introduced me to Wooly. And then the person was like hyping him up, being like, you're not going to guess it. You're not going to guess it. Right. And this was like the most valid I ever felt in my life. So in the pure opposite, Wooly looks at me and he just kind of is like, He's looking at me and he's just like, you're Mexican. And I was like, huh?
Well, yeah.
How did you, what? How did you know that? And he was like, well, look at your like cheekbones. You have like really high cheekbones, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, this dude gets me. Holy shit. Yeah. So the opposite,
here, and I'm
like,
thinking like, that's not even the way that I would come to the same answer. The question by itself means that you're not white.
Yeah, but
like if you're gonna like it's you're very pale, so obviously you're expecting the person to she's
Stop
white.
calling me Measurehead. Y'all need to y'all chill the fuck out. You know that.
So we got two opposite sides of the Wooly coin. It's either he's a fucking dick to you and makes fun of you for being like 4'5", or he totally validates who you are.
He's racially sensitive, but he's not empathetic to the tiny people for their tininess.
He does not like short kings. Confirmed, does not like short kings.
Short king ally, actually. I'll have you know. But we all have our blind spots, you know, and we try to work on them. Some of mine happen to be just below the horizon.
Bro, I saw a nightmare video that is haunting me. Okay, it was this black lady on TikTok who she's 5'2", so I'm like, oh, that's me. And her boyfriend's 6'3", so she put a fucking video. She put her phone on like her fireplace and recorded herself talking to it. And it looks like you're talking to is that what it looks like? I look like a little child.
Oh, just the angle of okay, right, the tilt. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Ooh.
And she did all sorts of things, like she got mad and she pretended to be yelling. And it's just like, oh my God, it's so ridiculous. No wonder the talls laugh. The world is hilarious.
The talls. God. All right. You know what? I've many a time thrown under the bus as well that fucking coward we went to school with who like went out with a super cool girl that was tall and eventually like just broke her heart and dumped her because
that was so fucking lame.
Because he was just too insecure and couldn't handle it.
Oh my God.
And we just roasted his ass for eternity.
I remember
on
sitting
that one.
there going, I've never dated anyone that wasn't substantially taller than me, because let's be honest, the statistics don't work. And I'm like, what is the problem?
And then
the girl's just a little up here.
And then you get the dynamic, and it's awesome. Don't be a fucking coward.
They can help you reach things on shelves.
You get uppies.
There's things in my kitchen Paige has to get. There are cups. Like at the back. I can't get them. Paige has to get them.
She's offering uppies right now. You can get some uppies.
I love tall women, dude. Like I love tall women. I don't know how people can be so insecure about it, really. I don't know. The idea of me hugging a tall lady and my face is directly in her boobies.
There you go.
That's great. That's great. Why are you gonna be insecure about that?
That ain't bad.
Like that it's not bad, you know, but like I've definitely dated dudes Pat's height. But I've also dated dudes and like chicks and stuff also at like the tallest person I ever dated was 6'7", and
that's pretty fucking tall.
And I sit at like 5'3", so that was like the tallest. And then the shortest I dated is somebody was like either like 4'11" or a 5 even clean. And that was a dude, by the way, Pat. And that was a dude. Like, yeah. But yeah, that
6'7",
tall though.
you
That
could just be
tall
like,
is ridiculous.
You could just pilot a mecha, just go on the shoulders and like you're.
I did listen. I did
nuts.
get the uppies one time when I got too drunk and they had to carry me up the stairs one time. So that was cool. So that was cool.
Sick. So you the other thing that you have played, you mentioned, was Galvanized, you said.
Yes. Yep.
I at a glance through a trailer, I see rocket jumps, I see a grappling hook.
Is that them one of them their boomer shooters?
That is one of them dang old boomer shooters.
I see Quake Unreal ass looking guns.
That's exactly what it is. It was very much heavily inspired by like Quake. Yeah.
Having been on a recent Ultra Kill kick, coming back to that, I am curious. Although I'm also playing Half-Life 2 right now and discovering the limits of my motion sickness are not completely gone. They've come.
Oh yeah, old games. Yeah, how fast do you want to move? You want to move too fast? Let's go.
We're going through it, and like new games, it's not as bad. So we've subtly figured out things over the years to make it better. But yeah, how is that going?
It's been super cool. You know, we're fortunate enough that we were able to hire on like a couple people as a full team as AMG, because at the time it was just me and my best friend Travis. He goes by Stealthy Moose on the internet. You know, because we were doing like Spookies HD, and you know, then we did a bunch of contract work throughout the years, you know, just to kind of keep us help us stay afloat, and just, you know, and just also helping other friends, you know, things going on. You know, so then when we got to a point where, you know, a contract that we had ended, and we had two other people's contracts that because we're all working on some other project together, and two others, it was a programmer and an artist, and they, you know, were two friends before the contract work that we all did together. So they were slowly working on this, like, you know, Galvanized, or like, you know, the bones of it pretty much. So when all of our contracts expired with that project that we were all doing together, we were like, hey, do you want to join forces with us and like maybe like come under our wing about it, and then we can get like Galvanized like off the ground and stuff like that. And they were all for it. So we've been working on Galvanized since I believe October of last year. And so we've just been slowly working on this demo because we really wanted to get it on Steam Next Fest, which happened like a week or two ago. So we've just been kind of like working on that as much as possible, and like playing a bunch of like, you know, we definitely like you know, we're super into Quake, so we were playing like the first couple Quakes. We're playing Unreal Tournament because, you know, that's a lot of like inspired stuff. I'm like a big fan of Dusk. I love Dusk. The developer is like a sweetheart, one of the coolest dudes that I've ever met in the industry. Like, you know, so it was very much like us just like ramping up to work on this project and get a good feel for a boomer shooter the way that people, you know, and, you know, the parts that people enjoy, you know, with like a little bit of spin on our own kind of thing. And so currently, you know, we released it for, you know, the Steam Next Fest. We have a demo. We want to go into early access here pretty soon, and we're going to do kind of like an episodic thing. And in each episode, there's going to be 3 episodes, and each episode is going to have roughly like, you know, like 3 to 5 like levels or something, you know, kind of roughly something around that, with a couple more weapons and things like that. Cool.
I saw like one of the shots was like a cluster truck kind of vibe of like on the back of moving trucks sort of level.
Yeah.
I know
that's the third level in the demo, actually, where you're walking, you're running around like freight and cargo, you know, like, you know, while you're speeding down a highway. And so you do have to use like a lot of, you know, so like we have a chain gun, so some stuff you have to like grapple and like swing over, or you could like rocket jump, or you can like, you know, dash boost yourself. There's like different ways, because we really wanted it to be very like fast paced, like movement, momentum, you know, kind of like shooter, you know.
I want to say boomer shooter, the term was used on this show probably for the first time last year or so. Has anyone started abbreviating it to like booters yet, or is there
no, that's not
no
silly,
we're not doing that? Okay, because if schlooters is a thing, surely
Schluter?
Schlooters are done, man. That's over.
Loot shooters.
Oh,
like your Borderlands, your Destiny.
I don't like that.
Yeah, Randy Pitchford made that and then killed it.
What a stupid name. What a stupid name. I don't like that name. So I wouldn't want booters either.
Booters.
That just sounds too. How hard is it to just say boomer shooter? Or
it's not.
It's not.
But these kids nowadays, they got no attention spans. They gotta go faster.
Gotta abbreviate. That's silly. That's really silly. But yeah, like, so we've just been like trucking along on that. We've got a secret little project that we're working on that we haven't announced yet. Hopefully pretty soon, because we're kind of like working on it. And just we're doing like a couple more updates for Spookies, not like a little bit more content, but those announcements will come in March, so pretty soon. And so that's why I haven't had time to play games, because like we have huge announcements coming.
Will those announcements pop up suddenly from the right side of the screen, supported by a little plank, perhaps? No, all right.
If only. I should have set that up. Damn.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of that right now.
Okay. And I guess where can people check out more of what's going on?
What was that?
Where can people check out more of what's going on?
Typically like my Twitter, which is just AMG Sheena, or we have like, if you don't want to follow me personally for my shenanigans, because I do a lot of just different stuff. If you're trying to follow me for my dumb shit of like, because I do some like voice acting. I started a punk band in my city with like one of my friends, so we're I do a lot of like music stuff. I do some voice acting stuff. But if you're only interested in the game stuff, definitely follow our Twitter. It's like Albino Moose LLC on Twitter. And also on like Blue Sky, we're just Albino Moose Games. On Instagram, it's Albino Moose Games. Twitter was the only one that we could not put games in the name, and I thought that was horse shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
like many of things with the platform. Indeed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Pat, what's going on?
Yo, I watched the first episode of that new Last Airbender. It's dog shit.
Oh,
water. Okay.
So like back in the day, I would have watched the whole thing in one go and done that. But I have a human child to take care of. So point one against the Avatar show. No matter how low you put your TV, the very first noise in the Avatar show on Netflix is a timpani from the comet, which rattles your walls and wakes your baby up. So great first impression, Avatar. Incredible.
I really did want to like get through some of it before today as well, but unfortunately, busy ass weekend. So just starting with the M. Night Shyamalan like basis here.
Yeah.
By comparison.
It looks like a real thing instead of a fake thing.
Yes.
At the beginning, and here's where it gets real fun. It's wildly inconsistent. Like they have a fight scene at the very first thing, and you're like, "Wow, this looks pretty good." This is doing Earth stuff and fire stuff. Wow, that's cool. That looks dynamic. And then we cut to the characters in the Water Kingdom, and me and Paige are sitting there. And we're like, why can we see the glue on their fucking wigs?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. It's like some Game of Thrones final season shit.
What? Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus. And the acting's really bad. And the plot changes they've made I don't get them, and they seem shitty. They seem to have changed a lot of things.
Glue bending.
They've changed a lot of things, and you're like, okay, I guess that's reasonable for adaptation. But like the changes are all like less interesting and seem to be in the service of time, even though the runtime of the season of this is like only 45 minutes less than the entirety of the first season of the animated TV show.
So, this is going to be the case for all Netflix adaptations, right? You're going to get your 10-episode compression of multiple arcs of whatever anime or cartoon they adapt. And I'm curious to see like what arc they end at here. Because they
end at the water. They end at the water thing.
They end at the water? Okay.
They just skip a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And like to continue on, I'll just a couple of details that just stood out to me, because I'm not going to hate watch this thing. I don't have the fucking gumption or the time.
From the first episode, though.
Yeah, just the first episode. Okay, one, yeah, you can see the glue on these wigs, and these costumes are terrible. And number 2 is a fucking old woman points at the camera, and then offsets herself by about 20 degrees so she's not looking into the camera lens, and goes, "That boy is the Last Airbender," and then it fucking hangs and it's dead silent, and you're like, "Are you fucking? Oh god." But the real killer,
the friends we made along the way.
Which I wasn't like upset by this because they changed a thing, but I was sitting there going, "Oh." You know when you watch an adaptation and you look at a small minor change and you're like, "Oh, this is going to cause them real problems later."
Yeah.
The first scene of Aang has him flying around,
like on his
glider.
glider.
Flight. No.
Like just
complete
Superman
flight.
Oh
yeah,
wow,
like Superman.
Okay.
What?
He's standing on top of the air temple and he just like jumps around and floats down and flies around. And then
like there's so many moments where his ability
later on in the same episode, he like almost dies falling off a cliff because he doesn't have his glider.
Yeah,
like, well, you showed him.
That's the thing. Exactly.
Around.
The glider is a point that can be taken away from him, and then the air ball that he can travel.
You showed it.
And then eventually, when you are in the avatar state and you do float up, it's like, holy shit, he's got control of the whole. Yeah, all right. It's not quite as
so like you look at these changes and you're like, I don't know what the hell their plan is long term for this, because this seems like garbage.
Yeah, no, like see, like Peter Parker's flesh web shooters are like not. You can kind of ignore web for the rest of that story once you introduce that idea. This ain't that. Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, no thanks. No, absolutely no thanks on that.
Don't bother. Don't hate watch it either.
I and I'm like so stressed out about the Yu Yu Hakusho Netflix thing going on too, because it's like one of my favorite animes of all time.
Apparently, it's like the fastest moving plot.
Oh yeah, that again. I just saw one.
I need to watch that. Yeah,
I saw one fight scene that looked really well choreographed with the car door.
Apparently, that show gets into the dark tournament.
Oh wow! So it did better than Toonami, because Toonami always stopped at the dark
but it's only like
us.
6 or 7 episodes. Apparently, it's just so fast.
Well, that's kind of a shame. That's okay. That's a bummer.
Well, look, One Piece is on the board for like pulling off the compressed arc.
It's 5 episodes.
So it can be done, I guess. It's just what attention to do.
But
there's also.
Do you know why One Piece is so good? Like the core of it?
Well, I think we talked about it. It's because mangaka was behind them with a gun the whole time.
So I thought that was the
versus
reason
the creators of Avatar walking off the live action project.
I thought that was the reason too. It was because Oda was there the whole time looking over their shoulders. Guess what though? Oda wasn't just there. He also had a kill clause.
Oh, he could nuke it.
Yeah,
he could have nuked it.
Oh.
If he was like, this is a piece of shit, die, that project would have never come out. So that's why it's good.
Yeah,
because he had final say on everything.
That's pretty good. Okay, and if you don't like it, fuck you. Yeah, no, nuke it. That's great.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool.
That's the way to do it.
The only thing that I consistently watched that was like Netflix, presented by Netflix was like that Tim Robinson show, I Think You Should Leave.
Oh, that's great.
Like,
fuck yeah.
That's a good fucking show. That's a good fucking show.
I brought sloppy steaks to the podcast some time ago.
No, dude.
much to Pat's chagrin.
I used to be a real piece of shit. Slack back hair, chicken spaghetti. Yeah, slap them up. That one, I have like a guilty pleasure for really cheesy, like psychological stuff. So I like Netflix's You. That one. So now that I'm thinking about the last like 3 pieces of media that I consumed was like a Justin Long movie called Barbarian, which is it's a good horror movie.
Isn't that with like no dialogue?
No, it has dialogue. It absolutely does. And the only thing I'll say about it is ba 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 ba. And if you know, you know. Okay. That's it. The Goosebumps show that just came out recently. Back in October. It also has Justin Long in it. And Netflix You. That was it. Those are the only most recent things I've watched, and those weren't even that recent. So
the adaptation train, I assume, is going to continue with the way a lot of the deals you sign with Netflix work. The problem, of course, is always there's no incentive to really make a second season if they don't want to, because once they like, there's a whole bit where like once they make a Netflix adaptation of something, they get you in if you're somebody who's like a fan of that, and once you're subscribed, you're like, well, we got you, you know. So
yeah, no, Netflix has had a really like narrow view of this because it leads to people not giving a shit about anything.
If we got you on the roll, then like might as well spend that money getting a group of people we don't have, you know, as opposed to giving you a second season of the thing, you know. So
I don't know, because people can just like cancel, but I guess a lot of people also do forget to cancel these types of subscriptions.
With streamers, it is like that. Yeah.
I've never trusted a Netflix adaptation of like anything anime since that shitty Death Note movie that they did years ago.
That did happen.
In case y'all forgot, that happened, and I've never taken it seriously since, and I've been so scared. So scared.
Anything else, Pat?
Yeah. More Helldivers. Guess what? Helldivers is fucking incredible. You should play Helldivers.
Fixed, I hear.
Yeah, I got in on Friday night. Like, just right in. Holy fuck, it's incredible. That's it. That's all I have to say about Helldivers.
Mechs are coming. I saw a teaser for with someone getting into a Titan.
Yep.
And like with the same Titan crawling in animation. And
well, yeah, dude, the fucking robots are pushing in on the Western Front. Come on.
So, you know, that slid across my desk. Yeah, all right.
Let's see what else. They sent me a code to play Pacific Drive, which came out yesterday. That game's fantastic. It is Stalker, but without guns, but instead you have a car.
Oh, I remember the trailer for this. Yes, yeah. It was at we were watching one of the game shows that showed it off. Yeah, it's like a survival game that is you're entirely in the car the whole time.
No, you get out of the car and scrounge around and run from ghosts.
Yeah, it looked really interesting though.
Oh, interesting.
It's a roguelike, which I didn't think it was. So like you'll be like, I need to get to this part of the map, and it will load you into multiple areas that are randomly generated. So you'll be driving your car to places, getting out, avoiding anomalies, be it mannequins that move when you're not looking at them and try and kill you, or roaming electricity or hidden radiation storms or what have you. You'll be scrounging shit up to put into your car and build up your car, and then you'll be trying to get as many materials as you can before you try and teleport out, and you have to have a chase sequence away from like a almost like a PUBG energy storm. Yeah, it's cool.
The impression I got from the footage was that like the car is the game, is the main character.
No, there's a huge amount of care too. Like, well, you want these panels on your station wagon? What kind of panels do you want? You want to put decals on it? Do you want it to be crude panel, steel panel? What type of tires you want? You want summer tires? Do you want all off-road tires, or what do you want?
And when you're done customizing it, every like third-person shot of the car looks like a piece of shit.
Oh, it looks like a piece of fucking garbage
every time. Yeah,
every single time. Yeah,
but it will protect you. If you've got all the doors and the trunk on, then radiation won't go into the car when you're driving around, which is important.
It's got those brown wooden station wagon panels on the sides that are like basically indestructible. Like an 18-wheeler can slam into that. And those.
Well, let me tell you, it's not indestructible. It's
but
really
it
not.
Feels like it. It feels like it.
It's got that vibe.
Death cage.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Nice. What else? I'm playing Infinite Wealth. I've been talking about that.
I want to play that. So is it good? I want to play it.
It's the best one.
I need to play it.
So
I need to get this stuff done with.
There's only one thing I want to talk about, and I'll probably never talk about Infinite Wealth ever again. You know how I said, hey man, you don't have to play through the whole series. You can just go 0 onwards, or just start with 7 and 8. They have also said that it's a great time to get into Yakuza or Like a Dragon. Then you get to a section of the game in which, and they showed trailers of this is not a spoiler, this is a mechanic that was known, where you unlock Kiryu's bucket list because he's ill. And it's like, hey, these are things that he might want to do before, blah, 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 cancer. And it unlocks like 120 or like 200 remembrances all over the map where you walk up to them and hit it and then go, hey, remember that fucking stupid shit you did 3 games ago with that idiot that hasn't been mentioned for so long that you thought they were dead or retconned out of existence? Here it is.
Okay. Mainline quest. Go do nostalgia missions for the entire
here's
franchise.
A good example, because you're playing Zero right now, right? So you go to the theater district and you walk up to the building on the east side of the theater district, and Kiryu goes, I remember going to the penthouse of this building. I met some weirdo named Tachibana.
Yeah.
And he thought it was really cool to turn off all the lights in the city.
He has 10 seconds right now. yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it goes and he talks more about it, and you get screenshots of your memories.
Okay.
And then you get upgrade points out of it. Like it's part of the way that you upgrade Kiryu.
But I guess it also would, if you didn't.
That's kind of interesting.
If you were experiencing that all for the first time, I'm sure it would just hit you as, oh, here's stuff advertising.
A long history of weird shit.
Like and like if you want to go find out, you can, but you know that you're not going to get all the context here, right?
So that's true. Right. But like as part of the main story, when he's like knocked out, he'll have like flashbacks to like one-off events from different games that are never explained.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Like there was once where he passed out, and you see the ending of Yakuza 5 from his perspective. And then he just wakes up and there's no dialogue. Okay. And if you hadn't played that game, you'd be like, what the fuck was that?
What just happened? Yeah.
Is there like a glossary to go in for? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, is the thing that like, only FF16 is doing it, but like, remember the lore button, right?
Well, Yakuza 4 and 5 had a part of the menu that would show you every character and their names and their relationships to each other. And then at 6, they just gave up on that shit.
Oh, man. Okay. Damn.
Also, speaking of Yakuza, my friend wanted me to show you guys, because this falls into both Yakuza and Tekken territory of conversation.
Hell yeah.
That we're going to have. So my friend wanted me specifically to show you guys. Yeah, my friend specifically wanted me to show you guys his Tekken Yakuza little custom characters.
They're pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Majima and
they're pretty good.
Is that Judgment Dude?
It's Majima. It's Majima. Majima's brother. I can't remember what his name is.
Saejima.
Saejima and like a dragon Kiryu.
Oh man, customization in Tekken's great. You can go nuts. Hell yeah.
The game starts to get really obtuse with its callbacks. So when you're playing as Kiryu, you unlock a super move called Essence of Remembrance. And during it, he glows.
Jesus Christ. That sounds so much more like RPG epic than I'd expect.
So he glows, and he gets a spectral tattoo on his back. And it's the tattoo from the villain of 3, the tattoo from the villain of 2, the tattoo from the villain of 1.
Okay, that's sick. Okay,
wait,
that's like really
the fucking
cool.
back tattoo, like you rip off to.
No, it's like glowing on.
He's summoning the memory of those people. Yeah. Wow,
oh, that
goes
cool.
fucking hard.
And it's like it doesn't say your names. It doesn't say this is the guy from Yakuza 2.
Holy shit!
You know, and it's so cool. If you know.
Oh man, that's super sick.
That reminds me of some like Fist of the North Star kind of shit too. You know what I mean? Like that, like Fist of the North Star had a lot of that kind of stuff.
Oh, speaking of, during that remembrance thing, like they even call back to like non-canon spin-off games that don't exist.
Okay.
Oh man.
Like you can find a goddamn zombie poster, and he's like, "Oh, it's weird. I had a dream where I fought zombies with a giant gun. That was weird, crazy."
Oh my god.
So on the front end in the bonus sections of Zero, there's a zombie fight mission. Is that just Dead Souls basically? Is that just what?
Well, Dead Souls used a really awful shooting mechanic with like terrible controls, but the zombies in that Zero mission are from Dead Souls.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Man.
Gotcha.
Dude,
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Of course, in this universe, summoning people's memories with a glowing. Oh fuck. Okay, all right. That's super hype, dude.
But here's the thing, right? Like I'm sitting there and I'm going through all these, and it's like the only reason this is hitting for me the way it is because I played 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Gaiden.
Yeah.
Like the Ask. Oh, and Dead Souls and Ishin and Kenzan.
What about Kiwami? What about Kiwami? Did you have to?
Oh yeah, no. Well, Kiwami supplants one.
Replaces.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
okay.
But like for example, like there's parts of the game in which they're not referencing Kiwami, they're referencing one. Like there's music that got replaced in Kiwami that is now back for this, but it's the version from one instead of the one from Kiwami.
Mark Hamill shit.
Oh, okay.
No, not Mark Hamill. I'm just music.
Okay, no, but the Mark Hamill game.
Yeah, no, the Mark Hamill stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. All right.
It's crazy. It's like this massive love letter. Like, hey, have you been playing these games since 2005? Here you go. Everything you could have possibly wanted.
That's so cool.
So having just returned to Zero, like, a lot of people are asking about like what I'm gonna do regarding the series, and I don't know. I'm just gonna take it one step at a time. Like my interest though is to go 0 back to 7 and then kind of find, possibly consider a way of like finding out what happened in between. But I'm not opposed to playing some of the in-betweens, perhaps off camera. I'm just not, I haven't decided yet, So
like if you're not going to play every single one, 078. That's the
but the moment you put foot into the next one, you have to go the whole way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
If you even glance at it, okay.
Well, because here's where it gets really okay. I'm gonna try and decomplicate this as much as I can. The problem is that the games were all re-released and made in different times, so they all exist on this horrible spectrum.
And they're not
where
in chronological
Kiwami 1 is relatively new. Kiwami 2 is very new. Yakuza 3, however, is now the oldest feeling. And the shittiest one
of the newer type games. Which was the one I tested.
Fun part. All of the emotional resonance for Gaiden and 8 for Kiryu are, did you play the first 8 chapters of 3, which is the shittiest, oldest one?
Right. Okay.
See, that would have been my other question of, can I avoid playing 3 if it is? Because, like, I've only played through 0 and Fist of the North Star. But, like, I know that I have all of them because like Sega just did a big sale.
Yeah,
I even got all of them for like $20 or something. And so I'm like, I do, like, in theory, I want to play all of them, but if it's genuinely fucking suffering to play through 3, how can I get away with that?
So here's the deal with 3 is that the first like third of Yakuza 3 is you taking care of orphans, like you're like running the orphanage and doing little quests about taking care of the children is like the first third of that game. And a lot of people were like, I don't want to do this fucking shit. I want to do crazy crime shit. Right? But that comes in later. The problem is that Kiryu taking care of a bunch of orphans is like the most important thing that has ever happened to him in his entire life, and becomes the basis for his whole character for the whole series.
It's everything I know about him now. Yeah. Okay. The thing is, for me, so again, my point of view is like I tested like early on a little bit of 3 when that was getting localized, and then seeing what that is, I would not have a problem with the mechanics of it. I don't think. Going back in time, it's mainly just a question of the time it would take to go through the entire franchise.
Oh, they're fucking huge.
They're the most insane things ever. That's the only question. It's not about quality for me. It's just time.
I love these games and I adore them, and I've played all of them that have come out in English. But I dropped Judgment 2. Sorry, I dropped whatever the fuck. I dropped Lost Judgment. I dropped Dead Souls. I dropped Ishin. Like I
practicality is
with all of it from the day one have not been able to keep up.
Yeah, I will one way or another at least go like perhaps watch to catch up if there is a game I don't play. But
that's what I was like thinking of, just like watching like somebody's like long play, or if not a long play, some kind of like
I would
the important parts that you need to know, because I did that with like Kingdom Hearts. because I didn't want to play that the Chain of Memories or whatever because that was because it was like originally like a what was it like a Game Boy Advance game or some 3D like a DS.
I didn't want to play Chain of Memories either because that card shit.
Well, exactly. But
I guess you avoided the Kingdom Hearts curse then.
Well, kind of, but in with the card shit with the original game, it was fine. But when you got into Chain of Memories, it was like some kind of beat 'em up and took the difficulty of the AI from Kingdom Hearts 1, and so the game becomes like relatively difficult for no reason. And I was just like, I'm not gonna fight this. I'm not that big of a Kingdom Hearts fan to do this. But I'm like, but what the hell's going on? So like. So I watched like a comprehensive like, oh, this is just all the main story points. Like, here you go. So I might have to do something similar for 3 if it's just like
Kingdom Hearts. Fun. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts for me, it's an itch unscratched, and I just want to know what the fuck all this noise is about. You know? At some point,
I don't know. There's a Roxas and there's a Sora, but it's not a Roxas and it's not a Sora, and I
Nording and genuine, sincere power of friendship, you know. But
and ice cream.
At some point, I'm going to want to scratch that itch. You know.
So someone pointed out to me that Kingdom Hearts and Alan Wake are literally the exact same story, and they're completely right. Like they're the same. Like the plot is the same.
I'm like sitting here and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wait a fucking minute.
I mean, that would involve if you could play as Walt Disney then, right? No,
kinda, yeah.
You're not right. Sort of. Yeah, okay,
yeah,
okay.
but yeah, it's pretty close.
Gotcha.
Wooly, if you want to go real fast, Yakuza 4 has a recap of the first 3 games in its menu.
Okay.
That's useful.
That's good.
But that's the last time they did that.
Okay.
I was just like complaining about this, how like, cause like Persona games, people are like so into Persona games, and I would definitely be into them as well. But RPGs, I cannot dip a lot of time into because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I have like a free weekend. Let me just like play this. And then it's like, oh, now I'm a month of traveling and being busy. Shit.
Super
And then when I try to come and play, I don't remember what's going on. I missed when fucking RPGs, and I think one of the more recent Dragon Quest games does this. I know some of the Pokemons did this, where it was like, oh, this was the last thing that you did, and it shows you like a recap. Dude, RPGs, especially long fucking form RPGs, need to do that shit. Badly.
Like if the game has a detailed quest log, that's usually good enough because I'll read it and be like, oh, that's the
and that's fine too. But Persona and stuff, they don't do shit like that. Like I played through like the first part of Persona 5 and I couldn't tell you anything about it other than that the school teacher was a creep, and I don't know anything.
So the two that come to mind recently, Baldur's Gate 3 and FF16. Phenomenal coming back to it and going to, so in FF16 it's got its wiki dude, and you talk to wiki dude and he gives you what's going on with the character page by page up to the chapter you're in and the last thing that happened and the last reveal that occurred, right? And then
that's cool.
And then in Baldur's Gate you just have a quest log, and then you have you have the main quest log, you have your side quest log, and then your character individual growth lines. And it's like, oh, you discovered that Shadowheart grew up like this, and da-da-da. And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that conversation. So even if it's something that is not like a main quest or a side quest, it was just a little personal moment you had, that's logged too. So you just check those out, and you're caught right back up in like, you know, less than 5 minutes if you've been away for a while. Phenomenal.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. See, more games need to do shit like that.
I played Judgment, Like a Dragon Judgment. And did all the side content and then burned out a little bit on like the second to last chapter, and then came back 9 months later. And didn't know. I just I'm just gonna have to figure it out as I go.
Yep.
And then the villain showed up, and my brain went, "That's bad man, get him." And that's as far as I followed it from then on. Medicine's. It's shady medicine.
MGS1
the mole.
MGS1 had a story so far feature, but it's such a short game, you don't really need it.
You don't need it, yeah.
But it did have one, you know, like a little paragraph would kick in. Okay. So I mean, well, I have more to say about Yakuza, but like just more on your stuff though.
No, I'm done. You want to go see
what's going on?
Infinite Wealth this week? Go to twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. There's Infinite Wealth. There'll probably be a sponsored stream this week. I haven't signed a contract though, so who knows? And then the FF7's happening. There's going to be an FF7 at the end of the week.
Oh.
A new one.
Demo update.
Cool.
What?
Or full release?
The game's out.
Yeah, it's out. Yeah.
Okay.
Wally, what have you been doing?
A lot. Brain tired. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, so I'll pick back up with the Yakuza talk there.
Wally, the prom's tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm tired, boss.
You know what? You know what, man? I just felt the emotion. I'm like, you're tired. You don't even have a baby to take care of.
You can't listen, Pat. You can't fucking always pull the baby.
Oh, yeah, all the way until
it's
25.
It's the reason why he had one.
That is the only reason I am convinced why you had a fucking baby, just so that you could make so many excuses.
I
kissing the mirror wasn't enough. I had to kiss a tiny version. Go.
Look, honestly,
exactly.
No. Like me and Reggie were talking yesterday, and it's like literally, it's like there haven't had like a fucking day.
I know exactly.
In a really long time. This weekend burning through, so we're gonna take actually a day or two this week to breathe. Like I'm getting loopy.
Tell me about Yakuza or We Mad.
We are back to Yakuza 0, and I did have to go catch back up since it's been 4 years since I played 0 and got about I don't know what percentage of the way through.
50%.
Thankfully, there is a so there was the story so far for that game. I went back and kind of watched the major beats, and then as well for LPs and stuff that are all on the channel, we've got notes for each thing. So going back through the notes and just reading about the side stories and the Obitarian and the Shora PP and all that shit.
Bro, hold on a second. The Obitarian is in Infinite Wealth.
Yeah! From the fucking 80s?
Dude,
all
she's
the
like
way?
130 years old.
Yeah, she is. Oh, that's incredible. Unaging, I hope. Man, okay.
She's wearing the same clothes.
The fucking leopard ass stupid shirt. That's powerful.
She's one of the women who catfished you in the dating game.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yes.
So
we basically picked back up with taking we got to the point where Majima is with the blind girl, and then he's like, okay, you stay in the warehouse, I'm gonna go figure shit out.
Has she been in the warehouse this whole fucking time?
She's been in the warehouse. He told her to stay there, and she did.
Yeah.
So just at a glance with that coming back in, it's the energy is very wild because Reggie knows so much about Japan, and he speaks a good bit amount as well. He's more fluent than I am with understanding and picking up even written and stuff, and he's never been yet, so this is the closest thing he's having to visiting, and it is
those games really hit different once you've been to the locations they are in.
And it's particularly terrifying as well because it's whereas I am horrified and afraid of Mr. Libido, he is powered up by him. He's, so I see what's going on here. We're gonna need to feel out the energy of how fucking wild and horny and insane this game gets at times. But I did finally unlock the Cabaret Club, and Jesus Christ, did I not know. I expected the Kiryu equivalent of the real estate game, And it's like, oh yeah, put your real estate agent here, go to the place, put the money down, buy it in cash, and you win a financial victory. And it's like, no. Play dress up, pick your favorites, do a makeover,
manage these women
during the shift.
Yep.
Crazy.
That is such a good part of that game, though.
So
Wooly, do you know what you get for beating that mode?
I don't know nothing about nothing.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
You want it.
Okay,
it's
good.
You want it.
Okay, I'll get it. Okay, I'll get it. Oh, so
that's a good enough incentive, right?
Yeah,
there.
I mean, I did one round of it and was like, okay, I need a second to learn where information pops up, because it's a beer tap game, right? It's you know, like any sort of management business sort of thing. Make the pizzas, whatever. But it's like, just I need to know what indicators mean what, and what those different, you know, pop-ups, hand signals, etc. that you have to interpret are, and then we can get a flow going.
That mode is enormous.
Feels like it can. Yeah,
if I remember right,
the amount
there
of
are
slots.
Like 4 acts to that.
Wow. Just the amount of slots you can see for like how many different staff you can hire, and then the fact that you go through leveling up them individually to be like, we need to work on your charm, we need to make you more appealing with your funny stat or whatever. Like, yeah, it's infinitely more intense than expected, given how simple the real estate game turned out to be with Kiryu, you know, because the tutorials for that seemed intimidating at first, but then it was actually quick and fine, you know.
Yeah, nearly every Yakuza or Like a Dragon game has a mini game or two, which is large enough to be a full boxed retail game.
Right. Yeah.
Just over here on the side, if you feel like it.
So yeah, I was gonna in my brain I was like, all right, once we're back in, I'm gonna go try to relearn how to play shogi. I'm gonna go try to learn how to play mahjong a little bit. But it's like, no, fuck all that noise. Time to go kabakura and just get into the proper management so that I can do frenzy time or whatever the fuck I forgot what it's called. When you party time meter fills up and then you activate and
with the gold.
Yeah, and there's a picture of him holding a giant champagne bottle, and I'm like,
well, dude, it's the gold champagne. That's
Fever
like 25,000 yen.
$250. Wow.
Wowee.
Yeah. So no, that's where my time is probably going to be spent. And also like running like a huge bitch from Mr. Shakedown, because I'm about to get shook down. I don't remember how to fight him.
Oh man,
you don't fight him. You fucking.
I figured him out though. I labbed him. I labbed him and I figured him out last time, but that was a long time ago.
No.
That was a president ago.
He becomes a money pit, and then he becomes a money machine.
Oh, he always scares me. I never. Oh no,
because like what? Yeah, Wooly. Once you lab him, you discover like his animations never change, so you can just get. Look,
and I don't remember how.
Just walking down the street at me.
I have to go remember the feel of Shake.
Just run. Just run. Just run. Just run. Be a coward.
He needs money to go to space to become the strongest living creature.
He bought a submarine. He bought a mountain, and it's not enough. Anyway, so yeah, Yakuza's back over on the channel. Also, I forgot to mention this last time, but real quick, as we're catching back up, I watched Advent Children with Punch Mom.
How's that?
Yeah, so, you know, it was so fascinating because I'm like, okay, I'm taking into account everything you guys just brought up, you know, when you went through it, and I'm reliving this, and also, yeah, watching the extended cut where you get all whatever, the extra Denzel shit. But for Punch Mom, it's her first time seeing bad FF7.
Oh, weird.
And also, like, there's been a lot of, like, when she's jumped in and checked out different media recommendations and stuff, she's also been, again, very fortunate to mainly only check out cool shit. Not a lot of time wasted on
fluff. You help curate her.
Right.
Based on, I'm like, well, try this out. Do you like this? Okay, you might like that, etc. Yeah. So when we get to, like, we're going, you know, 60% of the way there, and she's, like, fighting to stay awake.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, God, what? But why are they doing, what is, you know? And it's just like, I'm like, oh, like, you don't often have this feeling of what the fuck are we doing? Why is any of this happening? It's made so much worse going through when like so we talk about like the goofy ass voice acting, right? The fact that like Rufus is narrating the whole thing and he's the most stilted, so you have to hear him the whole time. It's extra bad, dude.
Hey, Wooly, let me ask you, because like this is the first time you watched the complete cut.
Yeah.
Okay, was I right? Because like I remember the original cut being like, okay, 45 minutes to the good part, and then the good part's 45 minutes. But now it's like an hour plus, and you're like Denzel hanging out at the church for 10 minutes. I don't give a shit.
So it tells you why or where Denzel came from, which is
who gives a fuck?
It is nice to have some context, but it did not need to be anywhere near that much extra exposition. And like, yeah, just in the sum totality of the trio, there's just absolutely nothing to any of that. Hey, did you buy this phone? Did you see this phone? I remembered the one. That phone. I remembered the one phone shot in the water, the most egregious one. I didn't remember the 3 or 4 other ones as well, right? Anyway, just God, yeah. So all of the shit you said last time, except one thing that I will say, even in the midst of like peak sleep and just like nonsense, is still fucking sick, is the Sephiroth transition is hot. The way that hits on the impact moment and it's just an instant flash.
That's great.
That thing is really cool. I really still like that one.
And then he's just like, hey, what's up?
Hey, sup? it's your boy. Yeah. Anyway. All right.
I saw somebody because I talked about it and now you're talking about it. It was in theaters recently.
Yes.
And I saw someone describe that they feel that Advent Children has been replaced by Remake, because Advent Children, like in terms of the remake storyline, Advent Children's like a side moment, and the big thing Advent Children had going for it was like, look at these cool, incredible CG graphics fighting Sephiroth. Yeah. But now we just can do that.
It is not remotely mandatory viewing at all, unless you just want to see what the cool new Cloud outfit and bike look like with the new sword. But then you can just buy the toy and see that. So.
Or you just play Smash Brothers.
There you go. Anyway, this weekend, yes, was We Mad, a Montreal staple.
Hey, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna get a drink. I'll be back in 10 seconds.
Okay. We had the winter edition of Montreal Air Dashers. So that is the big fighting game tournament that takes place over here. And we ran the Street Fighter and Tekken and a couple other brackets over on Wooly Versus. I hope.
Oh, sick.
If anyone was around and checked that out, there was some good matches running the whole weekend. Fighting
games
happened.
I literally did mean 10 seconds. Holy shit. Wow.
I entered a couple things and I kind of went, I'll just enter a bunch and decide, how I feel about it on the day. Played some Samurai Showdown. I had a ton of dust and rust on, and I was like, I don't know how to fucking play this game. And
how'd you do against the other 4 combatants?
So
the only 4.
It was a bigger bracket than that, fortunately, because that game is still fucking hype. One parry into super, and I'm like, oh motherfucker, I'm back. I love this game. This game is so sick. I missed it so much. Got 3rd place. I'll take it. Not bad. Happy about that. We played so there was a Street Fighter 6 teams as well. Teamed up with Reggie and Waka, his friend, and we kind of I was in the middle of like multiple things and commentating and so it was a bit chaotic, but running back and forth to teams and stuff. Got 3rd in Street Fighter 6 teams, not too bad.
Congratulations.
That's half decent. Yeah, and I think we carried our weight across. We all were managed to, wherever someone else choked, someone else was able to carry a little bit. So good stuff. There was a preview tournament as well for a game called Iron Saga Versus, which is basically a Super Robot Wars style fighting game. It's not from the people that make Super Robot Wars. It's a different company that they made a gacha game called Iron Saga, and now they're just kind of making it into a fighting game. It's got Mazinger in it. It's got Dan Kuga, it's got Boss Borod, it's got all these references to, you know, super robots if you like that shit, and a bunch of original designs as well. There's a kind of like a Epion looking kind of Gundam-esque, you know, original character, and a couple other really cool sword robots doing their thing. It was pretty fun. Check it out on Steam. You know, see if you're at all like me, where you've been seeing a bunch of Super Robot games for years and years, but you're like, please make a fighting game someday. This is basically what we're getting.
Right.
You know, the closest thing, and yeah, there's a hints that they're gonna get other licensed characters in there as well. So I'm always down for the celebration of robots that we love kind of game. And, you know, they got, like, Super Robot Wars got Gurren Lagann, obviously, at points. It got Virtua On in there unexpectedly. It got Big O. So anything like that, I'm just like, big it up. Go check it out. It was a pretty fun one. And for one day, I got, I think, fifth in that bracket. So not too bad. Then, every time there's a big tourney, there's always what are we going to do after the tourney's kind of wrapping up and everyone's getting drinks and just bringing it down? What are we going to play to kill time and just fucking chill? Nidhogg is a great game for that. We've learned, you know,
it's a shame they never made a fucking sequel, man.
Meh.
Who needs one? I really don't.
We've gotten into there's a really great game called 510, and like, you know, if wherever anyone who like is around in person and having drinks with me, I'll teach you guys how to play that. It's the best fucking game, especially if you like fighting games ever. Just good drinking and fun type things, you know.
I'll remember that next time I see you.
I have gotten into a new game called Crokinole.
Oh, okay. How the fuck do I spell that?
Yeah,
Crokinole. This is a board game.
What the fuck?
That originates in Canada. It was invented in Ontario.
Oh, God.
Crokinole fucking rules.
Some S2 energy here.
Yeah, what's up, Spider? I see you. This game rules. Okay, so take like curling in your brain.
It's curling when I looked at the board.
Take some curling, right? And I've always, like, from afar, I've admired some of the cool shit about curling, the slide and the brush and all that. I've talked about how me and some friends wanted to make a curling manga back in the day. It was sick. The curling rock we had one with a special yin yang on the bottom of it, and it spun, and it was wild. Anyways, take that vibe, and then take shuffleboard, which shout outs to ComboCon and Hunter going down and at the VFW. You know, it's the game that a bunch of old vets will play, and it's like you slide with friction and the right amount of force. You try to get into the perfect zone on this really, you know, waxed out board. And so this is that kind of energy, but it's with your finger, and it's a small piece. You have a big circular board, and there's kind of like almost like a dartboard style from outside to in. There's different points that you can make for being closer to the bullseye. But around the bullseye, there's a bunch of metal, like, plugs that kind of stick out and are like a little blocking plinko forest almost, you know? And so your goal is to slide with a flick of your finger, your little piece, to slide and stop right in the middle.
Finger curling. You're describing finger curling.
It's finger curling. Yeah. And there's a hole in the middle, which is worth the maximum number of points. So if you're super sick, you can slide it and get a hole in one, right? With a little like.
Chat don't know what the fuck curling is. Look it up.
Look up curling.
It's an Olympic sport.
It's the sport where people are sliding and people have brushes and they're doing the brooms, man. You know. Yeah. Anyway, so it's finger curling and it's so much fun. And like we got it as well. And shout outs to Bode who came with his board, and he's like, "Yo, I just waxed it. I brought the extra little like chalk to make sure the stones can spin properly." Like halfway through getting into the game and like kind of getting better at it, you learn some tech where you can like one side of the stone spins with more friction than the other. So you have like two settings for each one, and you can like slide it perfectly. And you either have to like, land in the middle or hit your opponent's stone out to the gutter, you know, and then you count up the points at the end. It's so fun.
a board game that I could show up with and be like, oh man, I got the board all greased up. Let's go.
Yes.
Someone greased me.
Absolutely. Like there's a whole strat to what type of wood, like what type of grease and waxing that you're going to use. You can lean. There are rules where you can lean to the side, but you cannot move your chair. Okay?
Okay.
Your chair must stay in place. You can lean to one side or the other, but you must maintain one ass cheek on the chair at all times.
Is that a house rule?
That is a real rule. You can lift one ass cheek off the chair, but one must remain in contact. So
so do you have a referee that always just has their hand close to your ass to make sure?
We had a ref
for one ass cheek,
and he made calls.
On.
Yes,
So by looking at y'all's booties.
Hell yeah!
So you had somebody looking at booty the whole time.
I dropped this cake halfway off the chair just to get the right angle. And it was verified. It's legal. All right. I'm balanced. I'm doing a half squat, but I have one rested, and I was able to make a really tricky shot by leaning to the side and doing it. You know, it's such a good ass game, and like I'm now like, okay, gotta go get a board, gotta figure out how to do this. And this winter weather we're going through right now is not kiting weather, but you can get inside, get some drinks, and play some fucking crocodile. So.
I have to tell you, you surprise me with shocking regularity in the broadness of your tastes and the depths of your convictions. Because one day you're not going to be able to play fighting games anymore. And you're so adamant about not getting into MMOs that you've decided to learn a bunch of old man shit, like shuffleboard for your fingers and kiting, so you can just skip right past the MMO part.
See
skip the fucking MMO part. Anybody who I'm not gonna.
Don't do it.
Right?
Don't say it.
Anybody who fucking has any self-respect will not get into a fucking MMO. You piece of shit.
Oh,
I said
damn.
Fucking
damn.
fight me about it. Fucking fight me about it.
How can you
say?
No,
I got dailies to do. I can't know time.
Good.
How can you say something so controversial yet so brave?
God,
damn.
I'm so brave. Oh, I'm so fucking
That's
brave.
crazy. You need to tone it down with the truth. You're getting out of control.
Players are so fucking unhinged. When I had the baby, I got a bunch of people in my chat going, so how old do you think it's appropriate to let him do like crafting on your character? I'm like, what? I'm not gonna do that. And a bunch of people in the chat are like, yeah, my dad told me I was playing World of Warcraft, but I was just mining shit for him when he was at work.
So the funny thing about
do not do that to your mini potato Pat. Don't do that.
Oh no.
The funny thing about what you're pointing out though, Pat, is that if you saw the way all of these activities unfolded, the hand game, the fucking old man shuffleboard sliding crocodile shit, the Nidhogg, the Neo Turf Masters, the golf game that is a huge hit as well. You watch the way everyone is playing it, and you're like, oh, everything is fighting games. It's just we're doing the same thing.
You can't. No.
Yes,
We're getting into at ComboCon and we were getting into shuffleboard like fucking fighting games. In this case, you're getting into this crocodile. It was so sick.
Such an insane person, Wooly.
No, he fucking doesn't. I completely understand where the fuck
Wooly, what you're saying is that games are games.
So what I am saying, I know this is okay. Coming from me, who obviously this is the whole bit. What I'm actually getting at is everyone who is into like competitive ass play gets into these things in that same hype excited manner, and we get really competitive about whatever the fuck it is, and it's a really good time, right?
And if you're also into the FGC as big as like Wooly and at one point I was, everything you can convert into a fucking money match because you're so anxious to constantly money match. I will tell you a fucking funny story. It was like me and a couple other like prominent FGC people. and we were all fucking bored, but we were so angsty to do money matches for shit. So somebody had a fucking Nerf gun, and everybody threw in $1, and we're all standing in a circle, and we're all playing fucking Russian roulette.
There you go.
That's money matching each other.
That's it.
For just because, like, dude, when you're so into the fucking FGC, everything is a goddamn money match.
It's the competitive energy. It gets stupid, right?
Yes, it absolutely.
You find a way. You find a way to turn anything into that, and like.
Yep.
So like this gets brought out to like someone will bring out their grandpa's game and go like, yo, y'all know about this shit? What you know about this? I'm like, I've been in Canada my entire life. I've never seen that. And he's like, sit your ass down. You're gonna learn how to fucking play, you know? And you do it, and you're like, oh shit, there's tech. Oh shit, there's this, there's that. We're getting, and then all of a sudden it's getting it gets all fucking. You got a bracket running. Someone pulls out a sheet of paper. You know what I mean? It just gets going. Yep. So
it's true. It's true.
It's all about that. I will find that in any hobby I'm into, whatever it is. I'm gonna search for that energy, man.
I'm thinking back, and my dad did me a massive, massive favor when I was a child. In that he taught me not explicitly, but through instruction, to not get into money matches for anything. Because he's like, okay, Pat, we'll play blackjack, and then we played Hold'em with me and my brother and my sister, and he just made the cards go wherever he wanted them to go and won every hand for like an hour. And he's like, see, that's why you don't play cards with people for money.
Yeah, so that's a wild way to instill that lesson.
Really is, because that's not typical.
But the thing here that like, and I'm seeing like, folks are like, you're just getting into gambling, and it's like there's absolutely that wild element that kicks in, especially when we're in like fucking Vegas and at Evo doing, playing games and whatnot. But like the reason why poker in particular like pops off with like the community and like other games that are more direct are that it's not just like we're sitting down and like rolling roulette, or it's not just the gamble. It's the competitive aspect. It's the thing that I'm playing against somebody else in a game of skill, and like if I can learn to do things that make my play better and more likely to win than yours, and I can like find ways to manipulate or like use things against you to play strategically against you, it's the opposition that makes it so much fun. It's not just a random gamble chance. It's not just because to me the gambling
in a money match was always, I don't know how good the other person is.
You think you can take them, but you don't know for sure.
Or I could take them super easy, and they're in the hot seat over there.
And more often than not, there's my boy can absolutely destroy the best player from your city. Let's go, and you put you have that shit rise up and goes nuts. But anyway, that's what it's that competitive shit. So I'm all about this crokinole. I'm super in. It was so much fun. In fact. So Bode, who had the board there, was talking about how he filmed a couple of times after tournaments where they had like a little bracket and played, and then he uploaded it to Twitter, And so one time they had like, grand finals. These two players were getting their final matches on, and it was really cool. And people in different crokinole communities on the internet exist and like follow and watch and stuff. And there's a scene for this game in Japan, and a Japanese player found the footage that said grand finals and was watching and basically commented like, this is such low level play for something labeled grand finals. Why would they not be flicking to the center when the end is obviously the more strategic play at this point in time?
Oh my fucking god.
And I'm like, oh my god.
Shit. Oh my god.
The Japanese community found the footage and is like judging it.
Sick. That is so fucking awesome and so funny.
This shit
goes deep. This shit goes deeper than you would think. Yeah.
Did not know what was going on. Yeah, the next level.
Game goes deep, dude.
It's waiting. It's waiting for us if we ever want to get to that point. Anyway, good times. Shout outs to the Air Dashers running a great event every year. It's the premier Montreal tournament every time, and this is the winter edition. There's going to be the summer one, just called UMAD. So, from WeMad to UMAD, Ultimate Montreal Air Dashers coming up in summer as well. Good stuff. Check them out. And I hope to work with them on more stuff and stream it on Wooly Versus as well. Beyond that, not much else. I in Half-Life 2, I obtained the power of Beast Lord. and I did not know that that game featured a Pikmin-esque Olimar section where you're sending out antlions after people instead of shooting, and that's a whole lot of fun. Getting through Nova Prospect in the prison and everything with your beck and call army behind you is pretty sick. The radios of you're coming in and people on comms are like getting ready to fight you and shit, but like you're rolling up with a whole crew and they find ways to jump into the towers as well. That's a whole awesome section of the game. Really enjoyed it. And then had a big long jail cell wave survival battle and got super queasy by the end of it and had to call it a day. So having a great time, our stomachs aside. I can still appreciate Half-Life 2 and what's going on in it, no matter how badly I'm playing and how badly my stomach wants to fucking eject. It's good shit. So yeah, we are gonna be coming back. We need some downtime. So I'm gonna need a weekend. Gonna take a day or two, but at least one day this week we'll come back with some more Yakuza 0. Probably Thursday. And then this weekend, we're heading out to, there's a Red Bull Kumite premiere event happening in Toronto. So we're going to go check that out and just hang around and watch what's going on with the fighting games over there. But until then, we're going to get at least one session of Yakuza in. So come check it out over on Wooly Versus on YouTube and on Twitch, excuse me. Okay. I think that's it. Let's take a quick break.
Hey, before we go, why the fuck do Tekken players call rage quitters pluggers? What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
I've never heard that before.
I saw people talking about that. I thought they were talking about like ass play and like vibrating cheating.
I have never heard that term before.
Scrub Quotes has been talking about it.
That's chess tech, and we're not there yet.
Oh no!
Well, yeah. It should be unpluggers.
No, we have not yet gotten to butt plug coaching tech, but
not yet, at least
one day.
Not yet.
All right,
one day.
BRB. Hey, what up? What up?
Yo, what up?
Okay, let's take a quick word from our sponsors.
Sponsors.
And yeah, okay, this week the podcast is sponsored by Shopify. Cha-ching is the sound of a sale when you sell something on Shopify. Hey, so yes, point when we started podcasting and let's playing and video games with a camera pointed at the television, at no point did we expect to be having to have to figure out how to sell you a t-shirt or a poster or little pins or any of that merch stuff. But eventually, when that does happen, I don't know how to do that. So
it's hard.
That's where Shopify comes in handy. They can help you set up your shop and you can start, selling little things, getting your first couple of t-shirts shipped out. And then when you scale up and you grow and things get a little bit more organized, they're ready to scale up with you. Shopify is a global commerce platform. It helps you sell at every stage of your business, from launching your shop to hitting over 1 million orders. They're there to help you grow. And they can. They're set up with a great support, award-winning support that is there to help you every step of the way. In particular, they have turned browsers into buyers with a 36% better average rate than other leading commerce platforms, and
that's more than a third.
It's more than a third. And again, if you don't know how to get shirt to person, they know how to do that, and that's what they've been doing for us, and it's pretty helpful. And it works on it's spread across multiple platforms as well. It's pretty useful for that. No matter how far and wide you plan to grow your business, they've got tons of in-person POS for your e-commerce platform. Whatever you're looking for, it's all there for you. In particular, right now, you can sign up for a $1 per month trial at shopify.com/superbeast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/superbeast right now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/superbeast, all lowercase again. Thank you, Shopify.
Thanks, Shopify.
Okay, what's going on? Well,
what are you going to do with the $1 million you won?
Oh, no. We don't need to start there. Let's reset the clock for a second.
All right.
Because
let's start over.
Yeah, before we even get there. Hey, it has been 0 weeks since we've reported on a layoff story.
Oh, goody.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Which one is this?
Objective Survive 2024 continues. Supermassive Games has laid off 90 staff, about 30%.
Slightly less Supermassive, huh?
Slightly less Supermassive, about 30% of its workforce. And this
that's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut. And
oh my God.
And this, I'm sure, bodes especially well, given that they are literally weeks after announcing the Until Dawn remake and movie that
goody
were both like from about a month ago. So we've been literally every week there's been just a combo of, hey, what's happening here, what's happening there, how big is the cut, how bad is it going to be, how many people are just out on their ass. The way it's going, like we've seen like phases of this throughout the years, this one is going to have an insane effect on anyone new coming into the industry. Like this one is going in such a way where, like, I think anyone who's getting a CV together to try and be like, I want to make video games, I want to figure out how to apply here or work there, it's going to create a much more like gig economy feel to everything, because you're like, I'm just going to touch base on this project for like 2 seconds and expect to be out. You're always going to be updating your resume. You're always going to be looking elsewhere. There's a time where you kind of breathe. You used to be able to like breathe a little easier, that you're like, okay, I'm on a project. We're at a place where this is there's good potential for me to move up. Things are looking a little solid right now, and I can feel kind of good about that. You can literally never feel good. It's creating that change right now in people, I'm sure.
See, man, this shit sucks.
Right? How many people did you fire this morning, Sheena?
Right?
Myself. See, but like that's what's like so tragically shitty about a lot of the stuff is that like some of my friends were some of the people that have been laid off over the past couple like months and shit like that, and it's like. And actually at MagFest, we did a panel about like how to get in the industry right now when all of this shit is going down, and it's definitely like one of those situations, like it's so fucking devastating for people, but like at some point there's got to be some crazy like phoenix rising up from the ashes shit, you know what I mean? And it's going to start like a new wave of studios and a new wave of like development and things like that. It's just right now it's just so fucking shitty. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like it's not gonna stay that way forever. But right now it's just so devastating and like so tragic. And like the thing is like and some people don't even have the tools or the knowledge to potentially start their own studios. And some people don't even want to do that things either, So it's like, what do you do? Yeah. Right? Like what is that type of situation that you do? Interestingly enough, like, GDC always puts out these like surveys where it's just like, oh, like how long have you been in the games industry, And the big amount of people, like the longest that people stay in the games industry is, I think it's like 5 to 7 years is the biggest. Mm-hmm. And then it plummets immediately after that 5 to 7 mark. Then it significantly goes down like lower and lower and lower, sort of thing. And because like the games industry is like such a difficult thing because like it not only is it fickle, but also it's just one of those things too with like all of these layoffs, people just like get disheartened about it, and again, with people who don't know how to run their own studios or where to go next because they don't know what to do. Then it just makes them want to dip out of the industry in general. And it's like such a tragic fucking scenario for a lot of these people. And I feel like it even right now, people who want to get into the industry, I feel like they're getting discouraged because of the layoffs right now. You know what I mean? But like, it's not going to stay this way forever though. Like I've been in games. I've been in the games industry for about 11 or 12 years at this point. You know what I mean? And like, it's, like I said, it sucks right now. It does. It really does. But it is not going to be this way forever.
Yeah. The hope is always that exactly. Like there's an other side to it. The types of shit that would be great to cementing things like this from happening, where it's like, oh, our profits looking down, okay, fucking axe half the staff or whatever to just make the quarter look a little bit better for your investors. Like if you're not in a place where you're going to get new or better labor protection laws, then theoretically a union should be able to step in and help with this type of thing. Right. And this is especially an industry where, because people are coming in with a passion for the thing, where you're like, I love these things, I want to put as much, you know what I mean? Like it's like a lot of people get jobs that like you go into out of passion, but this is an industry definitely where it is ripe for like exploiting people who are kind of coming in somewhat idealistic about like what they hope to work on. They're working for the company that made your favorite games or so, and you're like just in a perfect point to be exploited in that way. It seems as if, however, in every step of the way, while we've been seeing these efforts pop up here and there's been just as many like shutting it down, right? When anything gets off the ground and running, it's like, oh, well, we'll find another reason to completely axe that team in particular. But the fact that it's being discussed more often than it was when we first started podcasting, for example, is still a trend towards a positive thing. It's just, when is it going to get past that massive roadblock, that is like, the inability to get, again, better labor protection. I'm not sure.
I feel like
it's not only just better labor protection, but it's also just like a lot of these people go in thinking that like these studios are still in their like glory days. You know what I mean? But like 90% of the studios that you grew up or wanted to be in are like just former husks of themselves at this point,
Man,
and
I
are
can't wait to work
entirely
at Blizzard.
at
Oh, Blizzard's so
exactly.
incredible.
Yeah, and are all like just run by truly like investors. You know what I mean? Like it's entirely based off of investors. Like one company I work for, I won't name it, but if you know me well enough and if you've heard me do these panels, you know exactly what company I'm talking about. But you know, they were just like completely entirely run by investors and brain dead CEOs that basically were like, "Oh, what's the new popular thing right now? Okay, let's replicate that and let's monetize the shit out of that. Okay, cool." And then it's like, oh, all of a sudden, if our revenue dips below, I think it was like 200,000 a month or some stupid shit, we're gonna pull the fucking plug. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know,
Get
even though
ready.
we had a lot of concurrent players in this one project I was working on, like a significant concurrent like player base, it was just the fact that they weren't pulling in like this 100 thousands upon thousands a day. So to them, that
Yeah.
was not good enough to CEOs and to that. So then it's like you get pulled off this project and a bunch of people either get let go or they get shuffled around to another project and then have to play that same song and dance. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it's just like the reality is that like AAA is entirely just like shit. You know, and it's like it's one of those things anybody who wants to get into AAA genuinely, I really wouldn't recommend it. Like I
Yeah,
know that it's like ideal, but especially if we don't have any kind of union
mm-hmm,
or like
mm-hmm.
labor protection, like being in AAA is like one of the most dangerous things that you could possibly do for your career, you know, like currently.
Well, again, the ability of
Obviously.
the idea of walking in, noting that the rotating door that you walked through spins the other way is
Yeah.
it's going to create exactly people that are much more ready to jump elsewhere as soon as possible. But yeah, the people that, I mean, anytime you're making these decisions in a way that we say it every week, but it's like, you know, okay, the Pro ZD video where it's just like, who's making the decisions? It's the guy at the desk, the investor desk, going, money, and just there's no, it doesn't
But
make
it's
any.
true. It's true though.
There's
It's
zero
entirely true.
consideration for like what you're making, where it's going, who you're appealing to, what the we don't have time for that shit. Give me my quarterly return or fuck off. You know,
Exactly.
Fresh,
Yep.
fresh off the disaster that is Suicide Squad. Let's all get excited for 5 to 10 games that are markedly worse versions of Helldivers because they were made in like 18 months by teams that didn't have the resources they needed to kill like 10 more studios.
Sick.
I love that. So cool.
So I am not and have never been in game dev, but there is one thing about this year of layoffs that feels different to me than it always has been. So 5 years ago, you'd see like, such and such a company got layoffs. And what would happen is whoever would be the most senior person that got laid off or from that team, they go, hey, everybody, bunch of talented people coming out from Take-Two or, you know, wherever the fuck. And then it would be like this mass frenzy on that talent to scoop them up into other studios.
Yep.
Like the revolving door, right?
Yep.
You know, you go in and you go out. The problem is that everyone's going out all the doors at the same time.
Yep.
Yep. And that's what's so shitty about it too. There's some talented friends of mine that got like let go, and I would love to hire them truly, but like I myself, like I'm still like this small little indie person myself, you know.
Well,
like,
you're gonna hire 22,000 people this month?
Yeah, exactly, man. It's just like Jesus.
Pick up the
fucking
entire
Christ.
Supermassive staff now. Do it.
Now,
Yeah.
right now. You know, and it's just like, and I feel like game dev is also in this like really terrifying state financially as well, just because like, and I'm sure you guys talked about it on a podcast previously. I don't listen. I'm so sorry.
There's too many pods.
Sick. That's the best.
Sick.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Your streets ahead.
I'm so fucking
No,
sorry.
Wooly bad.
I mean, boo. No.
Stop trying to make streets ahead a thing.
I was talking to a
You're
former
just
friend.
mad because your street's behind.
I was talking to a friend recently at MagFest where I was like, I'm sorry, I don't watch your content, but I listen to your music because I like your music more than your stream.
Hey, hell yeah.
And they were like, no, that's good. I like that. And I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, so like, I'm sure you guys covered it, like the shit with Unity. Like that crazy financial clause, like,
absolute clown shoes.
Absolute clown shoes. And if that actually went through, and I talked about this because I had a giant thread running around on Twitter. If that went through day one, January 1st, I would have straight up owed Unity like $200,000 or some shit, like day one.
That just makes you so excited to work with
right?
them in the future.
With the stroke of a pen, just your life fucking ruined. Just like at a whim,
On a whim. And so I really truly think that a lot of people got scared about game development, and I think a lot of these like CEOs and all this bullshit were like, oh well, look at that, let's just save some costs because look at all these other companies that are doing some bullshit that are like similar thing right now. Like I said, Gamedev is in just this like fucked up state right now, and I just don't really know.
I have literally never known Gamedev to not be in a fucked up state.
Yeah, it's just how it just
fucked up.
It oscillates.
The degree
exactly.
Of fucked up.
But but Pat, it oscillates between light poison and toxic.
Yeah.
Right.
And right now we're in toxic.
You just don't know how much life you're losing. You're never healing. It's just how much are we losing? That's it. Yeah. So yeah, well, hey, speaking of AAA or quadruple A or like all you got to do is just look at what works and fucking latch on to that.
About quadruple A games, Skull and Bones?
No, I'm actually talking about AAA game Crazy Taxi. Hey, all right.
Oh, you mean the GAST? Games as a Service, live service, Crazy Taxi?
Last week, there was a bit that came up where it was like, there's an interview where Sega's bringing back Crazy Taxi, and they're implying that it's going to be a big old AAA thing, and it's going to be a scope that is... I forgot the exact phrasing, but it implied that it would be this massive new kind of open world thing. And it was really like, okay, I'm nervous. Can we just touch base? Can we bring the franchise that a lot of people want to enjoy back into existence and not immediately fuck it up, please? But nope, that's too much to ask, right? So right after we finished last week, a bunch of leaks. So in particular, there's a leaker who does a lot of Atlas based stuff that comes out, Midori, who basically confirmed that yes, the new Crazy Taxi game is a live service 100-person survival mode game. It'll be styled after Fortnite. There will be events, collaborations, and customization and such.
I didn't hear that part. I didn't hear the Fortnite part. Oh,
it is a gas, aka bye.
Jesus shit.
It is
fucking Christ.
It is a hey, back up, hair, hold up. Hey,
I'm
she's not
coming
back. She's fucking dead.
All right. Well, it's over. All right. Games as a Service reboot planned. Yes, GTA Online and Fortnite are some of the main inspirations for the Super Game plan.
Bro, Helldivers is blowing up, and it has a fake battle pass in it.
Sega wants to be competitive in the live service scene, and they want to use the classic IPs in new ways with new technologies. Both Crazy Taxi and Jet Set are live service games that also are having remakes before the reboot's release. Jet Set is closer in gameplay to Fortnite than Crazy Taxi. There's going to be shooting elements planned. There's graffiti and shooting gameplay and open world concept with exploration in focus. So again, this is a leaker, right? Now the person has been accurate in the past about some other stuff, but still nonetheless a grain of salt. But it sounds insanely believable given the interview about the open giant AAA scope of Crazy Taxi and the fact that anyone who gives a fuck about Crazy Taxi just wants to drive the taxi to the person, drop them off at the thing, and have the guy go,
you look cool, get in.
You're okay, get in. Yeah.
Like plays.
That's it.
Yeah, that part was cool though. It's believable though, because this is like what I was like, you just like proved my point, right? About like I was saying investors just follow whatever is the fucking popular thing. And right now, like Fortnite is like huge again, right? Like not that Fortnite wasn't ever huge, but like, I feel like we're having like another resurgence of that kind of stuff. And so, like, yeah, it's a leak, but it's genuinely so fucking plausible because, again, it's just a bunch of investors going, hey, the kids like that. And you know what the kids like? The kids like the heavy metals and the punk rock. Yeah, we should do something like that again.
But you can
IP
do that. Well, that's the thing. It's the fact that you dig up the grave and you excavate the skeleton to then dunk it in acid. You know? Like, you could have done this without that step.
Yeah, but
it needs to hurt more.
And monetization and live service bullshit. Like, you've read that whole thing, and I just feel so tired all of a sudden.
It's beyond exhausting.
I was like feeling pretty cool and energetic, and now I just feel like it's like lay my head down and take a fat fucking nap.
Yeah, look.
You know,
I mean, as happy, like, it's like, hey, Jet Set Radio exists. You've acknowledged it again. That's cool. Anyways, turns out Bomb Rush Cyberpunk was right to exist.
It's not.
Because if this is where we're going, I don't want it. I don't.
Dude, state of the industry.
So there you go. There you go. If this is what they're
trying to stop you from doing graffiti, shoot them with your gun.
I can't wait for our Battle Royale Shinobi game and our fucking
that would rule though. No.
and just Streets of Rage gacha. Like I don't know what any of it is.
You need to stop talking because it's gonna will it into existence. Like we're plugged into the internet.
I don't have crazy talk. That's Pat's stats. But
that's my thing. I gotta stop.
But I just we can't have. Sorry. You can't have a nice thing, is all.
No,
so
we can't. This is why we can't have nice things. We can't have shit in this house.
Well, here's what you can have.
Sega.
What you can have is fucking Like a Dragon, apparently, and Infinite Wealth with their what's it called? What's the Crazy Taxi mode? Crazy Eats, and
it's released a combination of Uber Eats and Crazy Taxi.
They released a Dreamcast cover of like Ichiban with the Crazy Eats logo, going like, yeah.
Okay, that's
so you could just play this, sick. I suppose.
Yeah, and I will. Watch me.
Anyways, so
dude,
there
that
you
mini
go.
game's incredible. It's probably going to be better than the full
whatever
Crazy
they're doing
Taxi
now.
Game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. State of the industry. Clock reset. We'll see what company is on the block next week. If we can.
Not Nintendo.
Not Nintendo.
Well, I mean, Japan in general hasn't come up too much with any of these things because they've got a lot of strict labor laws in Japan. Yeah. My understanding is that you can't do a en masse layoff unless the company is specifically going bankrupt, or you can prove that you're in danger of folding.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So it's like
you actually need to prove that
you have to prove that you're in a dire financial situation before you can do
that is great.
a big layoff. So that's apparently why that goes so differently.
How do we get that here?
Well,
how do we? Well,
I mean, there's a million steps between here and there, and a lot of
yeah.
All right. Well, okay.
How do we come back from that?
There's some fighting game news. There's a bunch of it, actually. So
there is at least 2 fighting game stories.
If it's not anything Soul Calibur, I don't give a fuck.
Well, get ready to not give a single fuck.
For at least 10 years.
Listen, when I was
Jesus Christ.
when I was a professional fighting game person, that was my game, was Soul Calibur.
I hear you. It's sick. The stage of history is god fucking tier. It's just
Soul Calibur.
It's just punishment to be a fan of that franchise because
it really fucking is.
Oh
God. I could rant about this for a whole fucking podcast, honestly, but I will not do that this time. Invite me back and I will.
What did happen was Capcom Cup X. So there's been much talk about it. And yeah, last night the big event went down, and congrats to Uma, the Taiwanese jury player that took home the $1 million.
You don't have to play a top tier.
In a world,
yeah,
I mean, jury's pretty fucking good.
Come on.
But like, so yes, the meme is JP and Ken for sure, and they are incredibly difficult to overcome, especially at the beginning to intermediate levels and at the top as well, at all levels. But make no mistake, like Uma beat Chris Wong, a Luke player, and Luke is also fucking incredible. Like, you know, so yeah, shout outs to them, you know, for doing it. And hey, you know, even though they had an announcement saying that this is just a first year celebration with the prize pool, they then came out and they announced that, hey, next year they're going to do the $1 million prize for first place as well. So that's pretty solid. That's a nice thing that feels like you're going to want to keep people invested and invited to come out and keep playing the game and not just drop it for whatever else is coming, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, and of course the whole time too, there's some wild production things going on. Like the JP theme just played for like 8 hours straight or whatever the fuck was going on. I don't know why they had so many sound issues and the mic going in and out with JP's theme kicking into mute people. Shit was weird. But shout outs to Safe, the Toronto player who plays Ken that got top 8. That's pretty cool. Seeing that dude go as far as he did as well. From, you know, I'm watching our boy Flux and him playing in grand finals and the qualifiers and stuff, and he just kind of went on a tear in his pool, came out the same pool as the guy who won, Uma, as well. So that was pretty cool for his positioning. And then a big like gag kind of people were wondering about, we were all memeing about, was like, okay, so the prize pool is $1 million for first place, $300K for second, then 2, then $100K, and then fifth place is $10K. So the drop off between 4 and 5 is wild. And so the idea everyone was talking about is like, we're just like, who is gonna miss the $90,000 drive impact?
Feel like the battle between 5th and 6th is the most dramatic.
Right?
That is gonna be so dramatic.
Who's gonna not press DI and get blown up for $90K?
Because like, you know, $1 million is life changing, and $10K is life changing, but the scale of life changing just jumps after $10K.
In the actual positions, it seems as if nothing to that note occurred, but in the between third and fourth place match, so that was NL versus Gachikun. There were NL plays Luke, and right towards the last set, the second to last round, he dropped a perfect uppercut. Right, the perfect timing. He dropped one of those, and then Gachikun, who's a fucking incredible player that's won Capcom Cup in the past, steamrolled the rest of that, and that's $100K. So there was $100,000 dropped perfect uppercut that did occur, and you're like, those moments, yeah, that's the sweat.
So hype. Yeah. Oh yeah. Feet versus fists, and you love to see it.
So that went down, and yeah, they're gonna be trying to keep people on board, and you know, like the when Uma did do the interview afterwards, they're like, oh, when did you know that you were gonna win or whatever? And he's like, the moment they announced $1 million, I knew that I was gonna win it, because it's
that's a good quote.
that is so good.
Yeah.
Good.
You know, so and it really did work. Like everyone competitively went That's the money I'm looking at. I don't care what the fuck is. What's my main game? Who gives a fuck? You got my attention, you know? So that is going to probably do well for keeping people playing Street Fighter 6 while the new game in town, 2XKO, shows
let's all
up.
sit here. And Wooly, what game is 2XKO?
Formerly known as Project L. The League of Legends fighting game.
I'd like to take a deep breath.
Oh boy.
Well, so remind me, what was the game that was before Project L that they bought?
Rising Thunder.
Right. So I played the shit out of that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So me and my funny little Street Fighter people. Yeah. So we played the shit out of that. And then when we found out that it got like, you know, that it was done, so it was like, okay, fuck. So then Project L shows up, and I'm just like, this could be interesting. And then some of the most recent stuff they announced, which I imagine that's what we're going to get into. I don't know.
The game, it was at Evo. It's super sick. The idea of the 2v2, so the problem is that like we didn't get a chance to touch it because it was way too crowded. But like gameplay wise, I loved Rising Thunder, and what they're doing here, I'm super down with. They showed off Ilaoi, who's the new big like heavy girl with the tentacles. Looks awesome. Really all down for that. And there's an aspect of it with the 2v2 stuff that is particularly fun, which is when you're playing with a friend and you're doing like 4 players, your partner is the one who has to burst you out of a combo. You don't burst yourself. They have to tag in and save you, so stuff like that is really like, come on, stay there, burst me, save me, bro, like stuff like that is really great for the hype. The name switch from Project L to 2XKO because it's like 2 times knockout.
So
I don't feel know why. I think the idea is we want to have, instead of people saying CVS2 for Capcom versus SNK2, we want to make the acronym the thing itself, right?
Yeah, that's pretty obvious. I think you're right on that.
And then there's we've got League of Legends and that's its own thing. And then when it came time for Runeterra, they called it Runeterra, right? And when it came time for Valorant, they called it its own thing. So there's a level of like, let's let each thing be its own title. But in this case, it just doesn't roll off the tongue. And they didn't want Runeterra Rumble. That's fine, but 2XKO, I think everyone can agree. We'll eventually get used to saying it. We now say the words "we" without batting an eye. We say Under Night in Birth, and we say fucking Melty Blood without thinking about it twice because it's just been that long. So we'll get used to it. But man,
I feel all of those that you listed as examples, 2XKL sounds so dorky. Like I would push it in a locker. You know what I mean? Like it's so dorky. I would push Pat 2XKO in a locker. Like
yeah.
So
I just but also how dare you? Melty Blood is a sick name. Change my
Melty
mind.
Blood's great.
It's melty. It is the melty as the description. All right, go.
Melty Blood is a sick name. I will fight you on this. I'm coming in on this.
Sheena, out of my way. All right.
All right.
I think the number one thing that doomed this from the start was the very first tweet after the announcement was a pronunciation guide explaining it is pronounced how it is spelled. This means you have fucked up. You are having to tell people how to spell, how to pronounce a 4-letter word. You have fucked up. Also, Project L is 3 syllables. 2XKO is 4 syllables.
Yeah.
It is longer. It is more awkward to say. It is not descriptive. It is not a word. I feel it in my fucking core that the reason why it is 2XKO is so that when you type in fighting games and go to an alphabetized list,
it is at the top.
First one on that list.
There's SEO on that. There is, that's a good observation.
But if you think about it though, like all of the fighting game names, all of them are like way technically also just always at the bottom because like Street Fighter, Tekken, Soul Calibur, Melty Blood, that's already so low in the fucking alphabet. Mortal Kombat, like it's so.
But the thing is that there's ways to make KO work in a title. I think OKKO is a great name, for example, for that show. And if the reference is probably to say almost like double knockout. You could say,
they could have called it double KO.
Double KO, 2KO, right? If you wanted to say but 2X is just that extra
I have to say,
step to it.
Saying how it's spelled, like that would be a better name if it was just 2KO.
So there's another one, 2KO, right? That's one of the.
I showed it to Paige. She looked at it and went, Tusco?
Yeah.
Tusco?
Double cross KO.
Double cross KO is how I would have read it.
So
cross KO.
Someone came up with they did a logo redesign too, and they went with League of Knockouts, aka Loco.
I would have done that. I would have taken that one. I would have taken that one over
LOKO. League of Knockouts. I was like,
I would've taken
okay,
that.
just for the fact that you get the word loco out of it, that's kind of nice, But
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just one of those bits where you're like, I think multiple people agree. It doesn't have to be, like if you want it to sound very different from what normal fighting game names are, that's totally fine, I think. But what you do end up with needs to roll off the tongue,
But even like fighting game names don't make fucking sense.
No,
like Tekken. That doesn't make sense.
The King of Iron Fist.
Yeah,
the King of Iron Fist. That's it.
That doesn't make
sense. But we don't.
Blue.
Oh, is it Blaze? Is it Blaze Blue?
Blaz or Blaze?
No,
Is
it's
it
not
Blaz or
Blaze.
Blaze?
It's not Blaze Blue. It's Blaz
It's
though.
Blaz Blue.
Yeah. God.
Are you sure it's not Blade Blue?
Blad Blue.
Brabru. This is
Blabru.
this is the English equivalent of kind of just going nuts with the trying to get the catchy name on it. But
it is pretty interesting.
Gear.
I saw
love
a
Gear. I think that's
universal negative reaction.
It is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like I did not see one person going cool name.
So
not one, man.
So, like,
I didn't.
we'll see what happens, right? I mean, there's always the possibility that the canons go, okay, maybe let's think about this again. And I feel like that's definitely a possibility given what you just noted. But I also know that given time, there's always we're used to seeing it, so it doesn't even mean anything anymore. Never forget that when they announced that the Revolution was called the Wii, I want to say like Perrin Kaplan were doing the press release stuff at the time was like, get it out of your systems now.
Oh yeah,
right. It was literally like, we know we're doing this so that it can be said internationally. Get all the laughter out of your systems now because it's not changing. And you're like, that's official. That's crazy.
It kind of feels like that Xbox One shit where they're like, we're going to name it Xbox One so that in parlance, people will shorten it and be like, oh, I'm playing the One.
The One.
And then they were like legitimately blown away when people went, oh, okay, Xbone. Right?
Xbone.
This feels like they want people to call it 2.
Don't forget.
Like, we're playing 2.
Dude, I'm just never gonna get over it on how dorky of a name it is, and I truly don't think I'm gonna get used to it. And that's coming from me, who has a fucking dorky video game name called Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. Previously, Spooky's House of Jump Scares. That's a dinky name. That is a dinky fucking name. And that's coming from me. And if I think that 2XKO, I can't even remember, is even more dinky than that, that's fucking saying something.
Yeah. It looks hype as fuck. I'm very excited to play, but we're gonna have to see what's going on with that.
Also,
all right.
I've been in dev, man.
Sorry.
How long has that been in dev?
I mean, since
years.
Rising Thunder shut down, right?
Yeah.
So,
like, are we expecting like?
I don't think it was exactly
just a bunch of characters or what?
Oh,
No.
I'm expecting a platform that will go and that'll get characters dropped onto it on a regular basis every couple months for a very long time.
Well, I don't know about that because first off, I don't actually think it was been in development since Rising Thunder per se. I think it was like a couple years after. I think somebody came out and said it was like a couple years after, but don't quote me on that. Maybe I might be misremembering.
Sorry.
It's all good. I play League of Legends, unfortunately, right? So I have trash taste. And that game has like 100. Yeah, I know. I have mental illness. So like the fucking game has like 180 or something fucking champions in it, right? And I wouldn't want that in a fighting game. I wouldn't want, and not to say that they would add.
No. That's not. No. I'm definitely not getting at that. I think Smash Ultimate with its 60 something or more it's madness. We're not talking about that.
I think at max we'd get maybe like 30.
I think. Well, it's more about the idea of picking the. It's not the amount. I'd say just like picking the ones that would be great fits for the genre.
Which is also difficult because some characters in League of Legends do have like quote unquote fighting game kind of like concepts.
The ones we're seeing here, right?
Probably. Well, I actually don't have the full list, but I know like off the top of my head, champions like Set. He literally is like a knockout guy. Alawi, she's like a bruiser chick. You could probably get Vi in there. She's like a big punchy fist girl. Yeah, so you could get Vi in there. They've
already got Yasuo and
Yeah, you could get Yasuo in there.
Of course, Jinx is there. Teemo must show up. There's no question.
Everybody's gonna be so mad because nobody likes. I love him. I'm a filthy Teemo player.
It is a mascot. It is marketing. That's absolutely gonna happen. There's no question.
So I just like
and Echo is in there too, doing cool shit. Yeah,
that's so interesting. Yeah, that's right. Echo was in it too. But yeah, it's just like. There's so many champions that would fit and so many champions that absolutely would not fit, and they might try to make it fit. Like, I think Teemo's a cool, like I said, I played Teemo, but I don't think he would fit in that game.
He'd be a trap character. He'd be like Naoto or Testament.
There are characters
like Peacock from like Skullgirls or
Peacock has pure zoning. There's a bunch of characters.
Flood the screen with bullshit.
So that there's a term called screen pollution, where like characters like Arakune and stuff, just like from BlazBlue, just they fill the screen with shit, traps and bombs and nonsense, and they annoy the fuck out of you while running away. Yeah. That has an archetype, absolutely.
And that would be Teemo then if they wanted to go that archetype.
Playing against a good Teemo player should feel like catching a disease.
Yeah,
I mean, you're right though.
I mean, didn't they? I mean, we talked about how the conversion of Teemo into Runeterra was like they figured out how to make it just as annoying in card form.
It's my favorite deck to play in Runeterra.
There you go. So no, I think that's coming no matter what. Okay, so
terrible name.
We'll see. We'll see what they fucking do with it. But
all right, Wooly, see me in 2XKO.
2XKO. Yeah.
See me in 2XKO.
Fine.
God.
All right.
Or jump on my or
even make it sound cool. Like
jump on my team and then I won't burst you.
I can't even make it. I can't make it sound cool.
You call it 2X for short, but like.
2X.
But the problem is 2X to Japanese players means super turbo, because that's what it was called in Japan. Anyway, whatever. All right. That aside, there was and this is just if for anyone who's paying attention to DNF Duel, I like that game. They announced the Monk, which is the class I was waiting for the whole time. Really hype. It's
more Kusoge coming at you.
Hell yeah! It is the priest that the same priest that turns into the Crusader, who I do the Bible's quotes while I'm doing hammer loops, preaching the good word. Right? That's my thing. So that same priest can instead put the hammer down and bless the arena, and then go fist and go hand to hand with you. So I'm glad they finally are dropping that in. The game is exactly it is Kusoge, but like it's honest about it. It knows what it is. It's not trying to be anything else. So God bless the ring.
They should have Karnov be a fucking guest character.
Oh, Karnov is the best. Karnov can show up anywhere. The Karnov everywhere system, absolutely. And then this week as well. So okay. In November, Main 6, the folks working on
this fucking story.
Them's Fighting Herds. All right, shout out to them, because like every time we're at a tournament, I always go over, play some games with them. Cool crew, always super chill and fun to just get some matches in or like showing what's latest with the builds and stuff. So they announced that they were going to be ending active development on Them's Fighting Herds. They had the 2 final characters they were planning to release in the DLC pack, Baihe and Nidra, and that was planned to end as soon as they were done. Well, for some fucking reason or another, probably related to other topics we've covered earlier in this podcast, Maximum Entertainment fired them before they were able to finish making the characters, and then launched the characters broken into the game, who immediately are filled with like infinites and jank bullshit, where not even like, oh, it's like there's a couple of unbalanced things here. There's one of the characters that like does a super and just freezes you and permanently
they're game ruining.
Like completely. So the folks at Main 6 were basically like, yeah, we've been waiting 3 months, like, unable to say anything so that we can tell you guys now, ban these characters from your tournaments immediately. They're busted. We were not given the opportunity to finish it before we were fired.
God.
Like, they announced that they were ending the project. It was like, that whatever was planned was going to happen, but they couldn't wait long enough. They just fucking kicked them out the door, and then they had no one left that understood anything about how the actual game worked on that level, and just pushed the fucking what was there live. So fucking awesome to see that game. Great. Really good fighting game, just like end this way. 2 incomplete DLC characters that are pretty much banned forever, and the treatment of that from Main 6, who did a fucking great job like that. Like, that sucks.
Boo.
Done as dirty as possible on that.
Sucks.
And this goes as well hand in hand with an announcement that they also made, that Maximum announced they're working on an Avatar, The Last Airbender multiplayer fighting game as well. So
exciting!
Oh, great!
Hey, the competitive multiplayer fighting game was the descriptor used.
I'm excited.
So you left your game in that state, and now you're going to announce a second fighting game.
It's
that's going to give people, that's going to give people such confidence in your next product. So cool, so cool.
Like, literally, just wait a second to do.
Fire them now.
Yeah, done now. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. They ate all the pink stuff in the building. Get them out of here.
Fucking Christ. Well, anyways, guys, I mean, Them's Fighting Hurts is a good-ass game. 2 incomplete fucking characters aside.
It's a significantly worse game than it was before these
now that they're out. Exactly. And like, just, maybe it's one of those things where like fans will make their own custom fucking fix or some shit, but in the meantime, the current DLC, which you have to pay for, ruins the game. It's insane. So yeah, fucking, Main 6, that's some bullshit. Okay, I gotta run to the bathroom real quick. Give me
Enjoy your bathroom.
Give me a 30-second.
Enjoy it.
Burb. Video games are in fact terrible. Good observation.
I hate them. They're bad. Don't play them.
Don't play them. No.
Big stink lines coming off of video games.
Big stinky.
Just the word. Just the word video games with stink lines coming off. Okay.
Gave her the ick when I told her I was in game development.
Do you know what a really awkward situation is?
No.
So I meet people in my neighborhood, and they're like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I have a podcast that I do on Mondays, and then they give me the look, and the look is, Oh, this guy says he has a fucking. Oh, he's one of those pandemic motherfucking podcast shithead guy, and I'm like, no. And then I always have to go, no. It's a real podcast, and then Paige has to like come in for the assist and be like, no, like there's money, there's a job, it's not.
I got into an Uber yesterday and caught a ride from the tournament back home. And the driver was like, "Hey, how's it going? How's your night?" I'm like, "Oh, not too bad. Just came from a video game tournament. Just competed in that." And she just looked, and just shrugged and turned her head, just went, "I don't know nothing about that. Sorry." And I was like, "No, it's cool. It's just one of these things. And if you do well, you can make money sometimes." She's like, "Oh yeah, okay. Well, that's cool."
That's cool.
And actually just like, and I'm out of this conversation. And I was like, all right, fair enough. Thank you. I put my headphones on and I just went back to my phone. Like I tried,
I was like having this like discussion, and I definitely am down to hear like opinions about this, right? So sometimes when I get into like Lyfts and Ubers and stuff like that, sometimes they'll strike a conversation, and they're just like, "Oh, like what do you do for a living?" And I'm just like, "Oh, I just say like, oh, I'm a programmer. Oh, I'm a software engineer. I keep it pretty basic, right?" And then like they're like, "Oh, like what kind of software?" And then I'm like, "Oh shit, here we go." So then I'm like, so this is where I'm like, I kind of lie sometimes because I don't know how else to explain shit sometimes. So I'm like, morally, is this fucked? Where like I get into an Uber and I'm like, oh, I'm a software engineer, I'm a programmer. Oh, like for what? And I'm like, oh, video games. And immediately they're like, oh, like Call of Duty? Do you work on Call of Duty? I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah. No, yes.
Yeah, I work on Call of
Duty.
But if someone is like, yo, are you like indie or are you AAA? Then I'll be like, and then I start to talk about like my actual product, right? Or like, oh, I made an indie horror game, blah, 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 blah. But like if somebody on the most basic level of understanding video games and only know like COD, and they're like, oh, so do you work on COD? I'm just like, yeah.
Path of least resistance. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, because and so I'm like, is that wrong of me to
not
know?
even remotely. Not even
when I got my hair cut, I'm like, the barber is a situation in which you are locked in. And the conversation is going to go one of it. Oh, what do you do? And it's the first time I've been to this barber. Like, oh, I'm a video editor.
Sure.
I edit videos for YouTube channels.
Video producer. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, it's very tedious. It's very tedious and boring.
Yeah. Now the thing is, when you just say video editor or video producer, I have learned that depending on who you're talking to, they in their heads they go porn. Right. Okay. Got it. Like you're not being too specific, so I'll assume that that's the world you work in or so. But no, it absolutely is totally fine to just not need to go further into that. The amount of times someone's like, oh yeah, like my kid plays Roblox, so you work on like stuff like that, like you make video, like how to play videos for like Roblox and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of like that actually. It is. That's pretty much exactly it.
I'm an accountant.
Helping people how to get through the game. That's exactly what you do.
Because it's not that I don't want to like tell people what I do, but there's just that clear threshold of people that just don't really understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that they don't understand that there's like an outside and I don't want to sit there and have like a 10-minute conversation.
No.
Trying to explain indie games and then them still kind of sort of not get it. And maybe that's me being like a jerk about it.
No, I would say if you can feel their energy and you can tell if it's someone that's like actually like, curious to learn about it, you can have the conversation. But if you feel that like just like you're totally fine by that.
I had the conversation about what I do for a living with my mother maybe 15 different times. She doesn't understand how any of this becomes food. She doesn't.
So there's we are currently.
My mom too.
No, for my mom, we're currently at the state where it's like it is a radio show on the internet. That's it. It's a radio show, like
similar thing,
like your Christian radio, except you play it by going to a website.
Yeah, I have like a similar thing with my mom too. Like it's like when I used to do like Mario Party Mondays and stuff on my Twitch. Like it was kind of like a similar thing. Like she'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing today?" And I would just say, "Oh, I'm doing my Monday show." That's all I would say. Like I'm just doing my Monday show. And then like one day I tried to genuinely try to explain Twitch to her, and she made a Twitch account and she jumped into my stream like once and for like 10 minutes and then texted me and she was like, I don't understand what's happening. And I was like, uh-oh. So then I tried to keep explaining. She made an account. My mom has a Twitch account.
It's horrifying. I'd be so afraid.
My mom has a Twitch account. So like it's so, so we just leave it at that. So today she's like, oh, so are you coming home today? Because she lives in the suburbs of Chicago. And I was like, yeah, I'm coming home today. And she was like, oh, like at what time? And I said, well, remember I have that show, that podcast that I have to do from 2 to 5. And she's like, oh yeah, that thing, the thing where you talk in the microphone. I said, that's it. You got it. There you go. Good job.
That's it.
Like, that's it.
They don't. It's just the inner workings of an RSS feed don't need to be understood by our folks. That's okay.
No, and that is completely fine. They do their best.
Yeah. Stinky as they are, let's fucking talk some video games. Y'all see that Shadow of the Erdtree trailer?
I did see that Shadow of the Erdtree trailer.
Okay.
There's going to be more Elden Ring.
There's Elden Ring DLC on the way, and we're going to get big, dumb, stupid into Elden Ring minutia now. So apologies in advance. It's a good game.
It's a fighting game for fantasy nerds.
I played Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I can't believe the goddamn hand behind Moog is the DLC access point.
I can and do believe it. It's such an obvious thing that is like,
But it's so like Moog is a brick wall to a lot of people at various points in the game.
But that's a very detailed asset that didn't become anything, So it makes a ton of sense they would. So looking at it initially, like lots of cool, pretty, and then motherfucker, is that a swamp? It sure is. Miyazaki, never forget the quote. I rediscovered my love for making poison swamps. I know how people feel about them, but I suddenly realize I'm in the middle of making one and I just can't help myself. It just happens.
So,
God,
there's a lot of cool details about this DLC, story characters, new weapon stuff. But I think by far the most interesting is that they realized that because Elden Ring is such a big game, that there is a massive range of different characters that will be able to enter in this DLC.
Yeah.
And they have changed the way you level up for just the DLC.
Oh.
Where the DLC will have its own leveling structure.
Ah, okay.
They compared it to Sekiro, where as you beat bosses and find things, you will upgrade your total attack power.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like
to streamline it,
level 30 and level 180 characters are going to be kind of crunched to basically the same place to start.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So, because I imagine, well, okay, every FromSoft like DLC that you jump into, it's never been like tacked on to the end. It's always been in the middle of
Dark
the run
Souls 3's Ringed City was.
It was okay.
The entry point for that was next to the final boss.
Because that would make sense for this, and in the same way that I would imagine as well that like the way Elden Ring ends is such that there's a bunch of different states the world can be in.
Yeah,
so
you can say that.
This is likely going with time fuckery, since that works way better.
No time fuckery. Completely different location.
Away from whatever you did and are doing.
Yeah, no, it's in a fucking pocket dimension.
Which worked for other previous games, because the state of the world at the end of those games is one that you can't really always have an extra story happen, much less have a fucking wife hunting you down.
Miyazaki says that it's about the size of Limgrave, but more complicated.
Yes.
But, and this is really important, this man says it takes about 25 to 30 hours to beat Elden Ring. I
don't.
It was really interesting. Gene pointed out on the tweet that was like, seeing the price tag on this, $40 for the DLC. most other things that are DLC coming at that price
A
tag,
ripoff.
everyone immediately raises that eyebrow rightfully and goes, what the fuck are you charging us? But in this case, you're like, wow, there must be so much content.
So big. It must be so big.
You trust immediately that you're getting more than you bargained for with that, based on you getting too much to begin with the first time around. Shout out to Zuli the Witch with a pretty great video, and there's a lot of Reddit speculation on what we were looking at as well. The moment I saw I'm like, Snake Man, I'm like, Rykard Young? But it's like, no, actually.
I that too!
Right?
But
yeah.
No.
It's Mesmer, the Impaler.
It's Millennia and Mikola's brother.
Another Empyrean, redhead.
Another M.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, George R.R. Martin like made reference to a couple of these details as well in the outline for the game. So
oh, that's pretty cool. Actually.
Yeah, this seems like stuff that was planned from the jump.
I saw some speculation and some geographic posturing, and it appears that the realm of shadow, or whatever it's called, the lands of shadow, is going to be the landmass that should be in the dead ass center of the map. You know how there's the gigantic
the giant
ocean
hole, yeah,
in the middle of the map?
Yeah.
It's probably that.
Interesting. I know the some of the things that were pointed out was like, okay, when you see the big Erdtree in the background of it, it has a second Erdtree coiled around it like a snake, you know, and it like similar in theme to the new character that's getting a cool statue. We got to see a fucking like melee hurricane kick moment that looks like Bone Fist from Dark Souls 2 is back. Like,
it sure does.
Big old fist combos. You're talking my language. Let's go.
There's a throwing knives that are like a equipable weapon as throwing knives.
There's a big like omen lion thing with like horns that you see.
Dude, that is guys stacked on each other's shoulders.
Is that what's happening? Is it a Vincent adult man?
Yeah, no, it's based off of like the Chinese parade dragon.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But like if you look at it, it is absolutely like a Vincent adult man situation.
Hell yeah. That's super wild. Doing cool shit. And I think, we also saw like, there's like the Mikela ring sigil. There's that Nito Orphan of Kos creature that throws
there's going to be all sorts of weird fucking shit in there.
And there's actually a shot of Mikela's back pointing at the tree, you know? So you actually are like, oh, Mikela will be here and we'll get to figure out whatever the fuck, was going on. And hopefully in the corner, Moog can be maulding forever. Because he can't get none.
So this is probably going to unlock a new ending.
Moog gets nihil bussy. It's been established.
Shit. God damn it, you caught me off guard on that one. Fuck. Oh no.
It's going to be really interesting to see like what Elden Ring feels like if you beeline to Moog, do the whole DLC, and then go back to like Lucaria.
You know, just get spit back out to the middle of it and
and see what the rest of the game feels like.
Shit, now I just need to finish Elden Ring before anything else. Whoops.
You might even be able to like jump into this DLC in the middle of your run, depending on how you access it, like or when it becomes available.
That's true.
You probably just have to touch the hand.
Get to the egg. Yeah. Could be. Yeah. Could be.
And I feel like, remember when...
It's not as interesting, though. I feel like they could do something better about it.
Well, you'll have to kill the guy in front of the hand first.
Well, yeah, but...
But also, you forget that actually getting to the hand is like a stupidly elaborate process, which feels like you're cheating.
Yeah. You go around the sides if you do the whole...
I don't know if you guys have fucked with the game in a while, but at some point they patched it that you don't have to invade people online to access the egg early.
Oh, you can do it offline.
There's an NPC in Altus you can invade instead.
No. I did. That's the way I did it. Actually,
you did it like that?
I did it. I did it via the NPC. So, shout outs to the eggy world of Mickey coming soon.
The eggy world.
And I assume as well that there's going to be a 6-spot made for PvP, so that you can try out all these crazy.
I mean, they got
weapons.
the Coliseums now.
Yeah, but like in the DLC world, would you? I guess you would then just go to the same spot with all the new shit. It's like a porcupine ability, like Kirby Spike. I just see Kirby Spike mode. You know, you crouch down and everything goes. Brah.
That's kind of neat.
People pointed out that like almost every single spell you see in that trailer is an incantation.
Oh. Okay. So, I guess your build is... Well, hold on a minute. By the end, was there ever... No, yeah, it was always imbalanced towards, like, you... If you're playing int, you fucking eat shit, too bad.
No, Wooly, that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true.
Okay, well, you got the crazy busted ones, but it felt like all the... we've been over this. It felt like all the big important moments were just like, yeah, too bad if you're going that way. But you get a really cool plot twist, though. You know, you get that moment. But, anyway.
I watched a fucking... Oh God, how long was it? I watched this like over an hour of footage on a guy's YouTube channel called Rusty, who went through every single incantation and every single sorcery in Elden Ring, and then like categorized them as to what they do. And the basic gist of it is that sorceries have a lot more good guns to use, but incantations have a broader spectrum of usable stuff.
Okay, you get more wide builds you can make versus the one zap, 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 big zap, kamehameha.
Yeah, the other thing is that the game's like placement of incantations and spells makes it feel wildly fucked up depending on which one you have. Because when you get to Raya Lucaria, like 70% of the game's sorceries are in this one early zone, whereas incantations are spread out throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, and again, like I said, some of it too was like picking up the big lore important items and reading their descriptions and going, thanks for the lore, I do not have a build that can use this in the fucking chest you go, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, cool stuff. It is nice that you can
Horizon's safe.
It is nice that, like, you know, you're like, hey, FromSoft, you gave us so much game last time that this being Limgrave sized, and he's saying 25, but we fucking
believe that at all.
I have no problem with the price for that, you know. That's an incredible ass game that I'm down to get more of. Okay, let's take some letters.
Was there something else?
I
can't remember.
Did something something SMT related happened? If so, I missed it.
There's SMT Vengeance.
They
released with SMT 5.
Yep. I think they got announced like for that Nintendo.
Was that
partner direct?
Was that today?
It was the partner direct. No. The partner direct I think happened like Wednesday or Thursday.
Oh, SMT5 Vengeance. Okay, second campaign. Ooh.
Yeah, that was part of the Nintendo partner thing.
I enjoyed me SMT5. That was very cool.
But hey, if you have a save file of SMT5 and you buy SMT5 Vengeance, you are not allowed to transfer your save file. But Atlas will let you transfer 3 demons of your choice.
Oh, come on. Okay. No.
That's
all right. Well, I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it again. I really enjoyed that, but I'm not doing the full run. Okay. I didn't get a crack at the Unicorn Overlord demo. It's been too busy a week, but
I'm going to probably be playing that tonight.
Okay. So
for Pat.
More to say on Vanillaware when we get a chance to touch it.
You know what? I will say one thing about Unicorn Overlord. I saw somebody posting screenshots from the demo, and there's the main guy, the main knight guy, and he's head to toe in armor. Except when he lifts his arm up, he's got like a really toned bare armpit peeking out, and I'm like, no. They're catering to a new type of freak.
George knows who he's going after. He's got one for everybody. Oh man, those games, dude. Every single type on the list covered. He wants to create the final boss of everyone's fetish. You know, like it's like
people are saying it's not George this time.
Oh really? Okay. Well, I mean, because you take a look at fucking Dragon's Crown, and you're just like, what are you into? Yeah, take it, turn it to 11. We got you covered.
I'm sorry, did somebody in the chat say that the demo is like 7 hours long?
That is not a demo. That is a video game, I believe.
Okay.
I believe that is a video game.
And also,
I've played at least 2 video games, at least
the stinky ones.
I would know. Yeah, the stinky one.
Also, shout outs to the prettiest Vanillaware logo that's ever existed. The new logo looks unbelievable. It's so fucking hype. Check that out if you get a chance.
You know, I'm so excited for so Vanillaware really obviously wants to. Remember 13 Sentinels was like a strategy thing?
Mm-hmm.
But it was like kind of basic. Mm-hmm. And they did Grand Knight's History. Was that them?
Was that them?
Which is also,
I don't
think that was them, yeah.
Was that?
Okay.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
And it's good to be like, oh, they really want to just get this. I don't. This is not Fire Emblem. What is
edge
this?
Closer to Fire Emblem, but make their own thing.
Like Ogre Battle. Like what? Like.
I mean, I imagine a little bit of all of the above. Whatever of the things they love. A little tactics. A little Fire Emblem in there.
It looks so hot, man.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the food. You see the food
every time. They are the Studio Ghibli of games when it comes to food porn.
I just saw somebody say it has the FF12 Gambit system, and now I don't even know how the game fucking works.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that means, but I saw a screenshot of that.
What does that mean? I thought it was like what?
What I don't I don't know. I don't know FF12. I don't know. All right. Let's take some letters.
If you want to send in a letter, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
I'm starting to sundown.
That's okay. That's okay, buddy.
I'm feeling it.
Okay.
Okay. We got one coming.
Oh, he's remembering that he's on his podcast. That's cute, Mr. Madden.
We got one coming in from Elena. Hey, dear Willie and Pat. Everyone's making jokes about Maria getting shot in the upcoming Sonic movie, but I want them to include one bit of lore that's been forgotten because it was only mentioned in the game manual and website. In Sonic Adventure 2 canon, Gerald Robotnik began his research to try and make a cure for Maria's space AIDS. It's called Neuroimmune Deficiency Syndrome, or NIDS for short. Pressure from Gunn to use his research for weapons-making purposes led Gerald to then make a giant lizard monster prototype, which was then reworked into a hedgehog with air shoes. This means that Shadow is canonically immune to HIV. The game itself never says NIDS out loud, and it vaguely acknowledges this backstory. But now's the time for Paramount to either right this wrong, or once again that Hollywood is a den of cowards.
Yeah, they need to have a conversation between Shadow and Sonic in which he's like, hey, Sonic, by the way, I can't catch AIDS.
What a good fucking email.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Incredible.
That's a good fucking email, by the way. Like, holy shit. Like, my Sonic Adventure lore, because the Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 were definitely my 2 favorites out of all the like Sonic games and stuff. And I do actually remember this weird NIDS thing, but I never thought of it as like space AIDS. And so that it just opened up this whole like big part of my brain that now I'm like, whoa. Holy shit. Dude.
Only the weakest hedgehogs need prep, Sonic.
Shadow can do what he wants. Absolutely what he wants. And we love that for him. He can do whoever or whatever, however he wants.
We got one coming in.
Fucking hedgehog conversion party gone awry.
We got one.
Cut us off. Hurry up. Me and Pat are going to make this so much worse.
Pause load control.
Tearing up.
Absolutely everyone must deposit their emeralds into this hedgehog.
I'm never allowed back on this podcast.
Elena, thank you for the email. Are you satisfied? Did we do it? Is that
I got
is that
the
what
one
you
I
were
wanted out.
is that what you were looking for? Are you
Yeah.
happy? I think you got it.
Oh, I hope you're happy.
There you go. That's
Good email.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right.
Good email. Thank you. Oh fuck.
We got one coming in from Dull says, salutations, Frank Castle and Mr. Beast. If you could delete one piece of media from history and by extension everything that logically follows it, what would you remove and why? Okay. I think I think easy mode on this is if you say like, oh, the Phantom Menace, because but then
Oh no.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say The Matrix Reloaded. I think if The Matrix simply existed as its
Fuck you. That highway scene is worth it.
I'm down for The Matrix and we just keep it there. I'll take that.
I got one. The Epic of Gilgamesh, just to see what would happen.
All stories deleted.
No, not all stories deleted, but they'd all be switched out for completely different stories, and the whole world would just change overnight.
The concept of the narrative has been destroyed. God damn it. Destroy the first domino.
Just stomp this prehistoric butterfly to death and see what
that
happens.
fucking the thing that crawled out of the primordial ooze, just boot it
just
right
kick
back,
it
in.
Yeah, fuck you.
fuck.
This is your fault.
Any come to mind, Sheena? A thing you would delete that would then erase the entirety of its after effects?
The Beatles.
Oh man.
The Beatles.
Jesus Christ.
Music.
Jesus
Beatles.
fucking. You chose violence.
Just like Pat.
You chose violence.
Just because I'm like Pat.
Oh
I'm
my
a
God.
Fucking psychotic little gremlin.
That's
I just want
insane.
to see what happens.
Just to see what happens.
Alternatively, can I pick one?
Sure.
I'd like to delete Taylor Swift to see what other cult-like figure all these white women would attach themselves to.
See, because like
You'd think Beyonce.
Yes. Beyonce has her own sector. But
Yeah. The Beehive.
Like, what do you think? Like, I wonder would it be like would Katy Perry take the reins?
She's in the back
No,
of the car with the red
no,
scarf,
no.
man.
She embarrassed herself with on SNL. It's done. There's no coming back.
That's fair. That's fair enough. But like with the Beatles, like I don't like the Beatles, but I respect what they did for music. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't.
Wow. Okay. You're allowed to wake up and choose violence. That's fine.
Hey man, Ringo tried to write every person back.
But I don't like them. Like if someone puts them on, I won't be like, oh, what is this? But like I respect them for what they did for music. And especially the genres of music that I like, which is why I'm so fascinated to see what would happen if they did not exist. I got in where my genres of music
what would happen
would be.
I got in super late, so I mean I'm not like I didn't grow up with any of that, but what I got into circa Beatles rock band, I was like, hey, this is pretty good shit. I liked it.
Sheena,
what?
If you remove the Beatles, then we are going to miss out on Chuck Berry's fucking face when Yoko Ono just starts screaming in the middle of their set.
So mad. He got so mad.
Oh.
You know what he did? Right after that, he went back to his room and he farted in two hookers' faces. That's what he did.
And then peed on a third one.
Right? He got really upset.
Man, that's rock and roll right there.
Damn.
That is rock and roll if I've ever heard of it, baby. But yeah, that's it. I just want to see what happens. Oh my God. I would like to see what happens.
Wouldn't it be crazy if nothing changed? The Beatles are gone and just like literally everything happened the same way. Like, oh wow, crazy.
I would scream. I would lose my fucking shit.
Lennon's just working at the post office somewhere.
One could like The
And Paul's just there, like just selling hot dogs on the street.
I'm sure our folks would argue and say that like the Stones would take over or something, right? Because that was the fucking NSYNC Backstreet Boys of the time, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So
that first email was a good email. The second email was the one that was it was a good email, but it was a violent email.
It was. Yeah. It does.
It caused violence. It stirred the pot.
Want to cause problems.
What can you delete from the world and live by the butterfly effect? Someone said the Bible.
That's easy. Come on.
All right.
Chat, fucking tweet at me because I want to know what other people have to say genuinely, because now I'm really fascinated to think about where we would be in media, because initially my first answer would have been like Lovecraft or something, to see how we develop like conceptually with our horror stuff,
if we
can you figure out how to be afraid of aliens without imagining like black people or Chinese people?
I was about to. I'm like, if you deleted Lovecraft, if you deleted Lovecraft's works, then all we would have is a guy with a cat whose name is quite interesting.
It is a very interesting thing, yeah. Or even if we keep Lovecraft, what about like something like Poe? You know what I mean? If we got rid of Poe,
oh, Edgar Allan.
Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe, right? So like,
but then we wouldn't have like an entire genre of media defined by syphilitic madness.
We would not. We would have no Tim Burton.
Well, but that's what I mean, because a lot of my work,
get rid of Poe then.
A lot of my work is genuinely inspired by Poe, and so that's why. So initially that was going to be my first answer, but then I was like, no, I'm going to start some shit. So then I said the Beatles, because both of those are good. So Chad, if you have an inkling to tweet at me what you guys would feel, because I definitely just want to know. Now I'm just going to have like an existential crisis later when I'm high on my edible, and I'm going to think about, wow, where would we have been? Do that for me. Give me an existential crisis later, please.
When I was in elementary school, and like I read Poe like for the first time, and I remember like reading The Raven. I remember that was one of the first times I was like getting an assignment, and like the flow of that, I was like, yo, bars. Like it has a flow to it that was quite sick. I really liked that as a kid, reading it back in the day.
It's good.
All right, last one. This one is coming in from Durzis, who says, hello, I've listened to you both for a while now, and you like to bring up how last minute a nature of a lot of these tech companies let people go. I work in the IT security industry, and the reason why they do it firsthand, it does suck, but it's for the safety of others at the company. Obviously, losing your job is stressful and unfortunately common for released employees to get violent and or attempt to steal or damage equipment and stuff owned by the company. And if a person is informed ahead of time, they can have a planned violent confrontation with the managers and HR and stuff like that. And it kind of goes on about this. That's why they kind of do something that's why when someone is fired, they tend to be outnumbered so that they get the news and they're less likely to have that kind of outburst. And the policy is it's for security and safety. So, dude, just to like, no one, I think, ever felt that the idea of the potential outburst was any of the issue. That's not what we're making fun of or saying is dumb or bullshit whenever we talk about this. It's about how people find out they're fired with a public announcement of something, how people find out at the same time as the actual public-facing announcement that the company puts out, or finding out during a company picnic, or over 1 minute Zoom call or some shit. The idea that there's a security escort to get your things and walk out or whatever, that's obviously based on, yes, they don't want people to go nuts, and there's an aspect to that's where it comes from. But that's never what we're talking about. You're focusing on the complete opposite thing.
I think
sorry, Pat.
I think that the corporate society has used a couple unfortunate disasters to come up with a really good reason to not have to ever sit down face to face with somebody and ever actually have to let them go. And so you can fire huge swaths of your company with the click of a button or an email and go,
5-minute Zoom call.
I didn't even have to push them out the door.
Right.
Because maybe if you had to physically fire like 90 people in a day, they could actually yell at you in your office, and that'd be really uncomfortable for you.
If the concept of the exit interview, which again, like used to be a thing depending on where you are, where you literally talk about like, okay, what happened, why, what, and you literally give and get feedback and such. But like, yeah, in these cases, most of the time, that security issue has nothing to do with the most bullshit stories that we've brought up over the years of how they've fired people, and the lack of respect you have for your employees as well, for, again, having them discover shit while like the press is writing articles about it. That's fucking insanity, So
now,
that's absolute insanity. But also, it's just like, I feel like, yes, do people have violent outbursts and things like that? Yeah, but I don't feel like that's such like as common as people make it out to be. But because we live in such a
society,
like,
we live
in
a
society.
Yeah, let's just call it that. Because we live in such a society, people think that happens more commonly than it actually does. And so, like, but I really don't even think that again, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It does. It absolutely does, and we have proof of that. But I don't think it's as common as people think it is, especially when you consider that a lot of these companies beat down their employees so bad that they don't even have self-esteem to begin with.
Exactly.
That they'll just go, oh, and then be sad more than violent or angry. I feel like typically when someone goes more on the violent side of being fired, it's because other things are going on in their life that isn't just losing their job, but also, people finding out, like Wooly said, like with all these articles, or when people just wake up and find out, what was it, G4, that all the G4 people found out.
Oh, there was one year or two ago where people showed up to their office and their key cards didn't work.
It was Twitter. It was Twitter. Yeah,
it was Twitter.
It was Twitter. It was literally Twitter. But like that's like fucking insane, and we're gonna make fun. It's easy to make fun of that shit because of how fucking absurd it is.
The security, the security issue is not a reason to not treat your employees like fucking human beings.
Well,
that's
exactly.
the end of the day.
Like
as a policy, mind you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If the assumption is that you're supposed to give 2 weeks notice to your boss so that they can find your replacement, then it should go the other way around, at least. The other thing this person points out is not like we've been focused on the safety. People could steal their stapler or download some files off their computer if they're allowed to go back to their desk, after they've been let go. So what that email is implying is that if you are the type of person that would steal things from your job after you get fired, you should start stealing the instant you get there. To prepare for you getting fired.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Who's to say that they haven't already been stealing before being fired? And who's to say they haven't been backing up all of their shit already? Because 90% of the time, if you have that inkling to do that as you're already walking out, you've already been fucking doing that. So
you should take every piece of office equipment you find.
I'm gonna take all the fucking sticky notes in the office, dude.
Is there a wage theft counter that is left that we can tally up together?
So, Sheena, I know that me and Wooly have had this experience, but I'm sure you've worked a job in which you got your paycheck, and then part of getting your paycheck was to go walk over to your manager's office and be like, hey, you fucked up my paycheck. And there was always a line.
2 lines. Paycheck line, immediately to the left of that, you fucking stole money from me line. Correct my paycheck now, please. Literally how we got paid every 2 weeks.
Oh, I've had to do that a couple times, unfortunately.
Fucking rad.
I think that's common. I think that's way more common than somebody having a violent outburst and then
no, by the numbers, infinitely so, actually. Anyway,
like I said,
I think if you get fired and it's bullshit, that you should fuck your boss's mom.
Do it. Do it.
I mean,
when was the last time that bag of bones had?
Don't call her.
If she's down and you can pull that off.
Well, you try your way.
Get the cobwebs out of there.
Get the cobwebs out of this. And then you ghost them, and then they're crying at dinner, and then you just drive past your boss with photos of you banging their mom.
Just straighten that back out,
just throw that back out, dust the cobwebs out of there. Just do a quick little whew, real quick. Just blow it out real quick.
Sheena, thank you. Where could people find you? Thank you so much.
You can find me everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, because I'm trying to get back into streaming again. On AMG stands for Albino Moose Games, not the car. Some people think it's about a car. It's not. AMG Sheena, SHEENA. I'm on all platforms. I try to keep it as consistent as possible.
Fuck yeah.